Yeah. Yeah. Big JTV, man. Big JTV here with the big broadcast. What episode number 87, man. We coming close to that 100. We getting real close to that 100, man. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tapping in and tuning in. And before y'all come in, I want to put this out there like the stream. Best way to support, you know what I mean? Support your boy. If you're listening on podcasting audio only platforms, I want you to give your boy some 5 stars. And if you're feeling generous, the PayPal option is there. It's in the description. Obviously, if you want to patronize and support your boy even more, you know what I mean? Uh, feel free to check out the Patreon. Patreon link is going to be in the bio. Everything is going to be available for y'all. I put the stream and the show on Patreon a bit early. If y'all don't catch it live, it's going to be on Patreon, man. Early and exclusive access. So if y'all want to support your boy, feel free to support your boy. Best way to get things popping, get things going, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. You know what to do. Support and like the stream. That's what we do in this BITCH, man. It's Friday night, though. It's Friday night, though. Cheers. mm, mm. We need to start off this right? We need to start this off right. I mean, let's stop playing. We need to start this off right, man. We vibing, we buzzing, we getting it in. Let's start it off, man. We need some BBL Drizzy. Fair use, man. Fair use. I don't own this content, bro. Let's go.
You know the time when we on my niggas start lurking and tying their hoodies and shit. Soon as this shit get resolved,
By the way, I'm about to make y'all mad. Y'all might not hear this or y'all might hear this, irregardless of what I do in the editing process after. Drake won the beef. Drake won the beef. Y'all can dislike it right now. Y'all can hate my thinking. Y'all can be mad. Get mad. But I told y'all the truth. Drake won the beef, man. Let's go.
why you love me still a mystery? Me and the surgeon got history. I changed a lot.
Of course, it starts pausing and giving issues.
Girls live for real. They
It
need
is what it
anybody
is.
that hitting me. Hey.
Ah. Hey, man. Hey, we having fun in this bit. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all for tapping in. I want to press this by saying fair use. We got to start with fair use. I don't own this music. I don't own this content. My thing is, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun before we started, while people pop in and vibe in. And if you are listening on audio only, give your boy 5 stars. I need that 5. If you are on YouTube or you're just watching the stream, man, you better put them likes in, man. We're having a little fun before we get to the foolishness, the seriousness. And I want to say this before I say anything. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. So if you have not seen Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, then you better dip for the next 20 or so minutes. You better skip ahead the next 30 or so minutes because we're going to deep dive. We're going to talk. But again, spoiler alert. You understand me? You know what I mean? If you're here rocking with your boy, man, I better see them likes bling up, man. Stop playing with your boy. Let's get active. Let's get active. abuse that like button. I tell y'all, I appreciate y'all for coming rocking with your boy, man. You know what I mean? More than you know. We are vibing tonight. It's a Friday night. Y'all could have been anywhere doing anything, but you wanted to rock with me, and you are smarter than you are up here. So whoever says you're stupid, anything other than greatness, I recognize you and I rock with you, man. You better show me some love too, man. Get them likes up.
They don't like me, I don't like them neither.
Ah, we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna mix up. By the way, I want to ask this: is Smirk, you know what I mean, Lil Durk, is he the top of the rap game right now? Like, get in the chat. Is Smirk on top of the rap game right now? You know what I mean? I'm gonna ask it in the chat. Is is Dirk the biggest in the rap game right now? So for me, I think yes. I think he is. I think he is because he relates to the streets and also mainstream. He's done the crossover, right? It's not Drake, it's not Future, it's not Kendrick. He's related and respected in the streets way more than those three. Maybe Future could clash with him on that level, but I just think with the rise of drill culture and just the resurgence of Dirt, I think he's on top of the rap game. Get in the chat, do y'all? It is ass, but ain't need to. Hey man, I think he's on top, man. I think he's on top. It is what it is, man. One thing for a fact though, he definitely up, man. He definitely up. Quick again, fair use. I don't own this piece of content. Is Detroit hip hop the top of the game right now? I think Detroit hip hop. You know, Rilo Rodriguez is Mobile, Alabama, but you know, Rio the Young OG. You know what I mean? We're talking about Skrilla Baby, Sada Baby. You know what I mean? 42 Doug. Peasy, like we just have right here. You know what I mean? I swear Vezo, V's, you know what I mean? Detroit hip hop is on top right now, and I think it's just the sound. You know what I mean? And for me, I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. Detroit hip hop is running the game. You know what I mean? Shout out Babytron. You know what I mean? Even Big Sean's recent album was really, really good. It's not like that real Detroit sound that's going on. But I think Detroit hip hop is running the game, man. Peasy's one of the originators, you know what I mean? Shout out to him. Free Rio, the young OG. I know that Rio's not actually from Detroit. He's from, I think, Saginaw. So he's basically in that Michigan area. I think them niggas is running the rap game. They're doing really amazing, amazing. Let's go. That's right. By the way, fair use, man. I don't own this song. I don't own this content. It belongs to whatever music label owns this. You know what I mean? Rock Nation, Rockefeller, whatever the hell owns this track, whatever owns Killer Season, it is what it is. I love this MF and track. But it's a fact because you have to understand you gonna suck it or not. That's a consent anthem, right? Dude says, Ma, I've been hugging the block. That's right, hustling rocks. I know I've been puffing a lot, but a nigga wanna know, baby girl, you gonna suck it or not. And this is gonna be a common theme in this episode of this podcast. Is you gonna suck it or not? And why is that important? Because it sets up so many things. Is she, or in some cases he, no Diddy, gonna suck it or not? Right? Meaning that are you going to do these sexual acts with me or not? Right? And if you are, we gonna have fun. And we gonna get it on the night. You know what I mean? Shout out Cameron, shout out Dipset. But if you're not, then get the F out of here. That's consent, y'all. She gonna do it or nah. She gonna suck it or nah. Very, very simple. Let's go, man. Mm.
I know I've been fucking a lot, but a lot you wanna know, baby girl, you was sucking it out. Dick hard as a motherfucker. That shit too much. I ain't stuck my mom. Come on, fuck this fuck that. This is that. Love fuck the I'm so glad that it's so track. Got you. your face, fuck, pump whack. I'm a pump whack and fuck, suck it and not. Girl, I'm in love with the try. Mission, back shot, pop it off, pop it off. Take this what I want to before I that top it all. What you need? So the top of our leg, suck, deep throat, stop, I pour, I pour, not be pouring. But it's not
Before you go,
sucking and
suck
not
it or not.
looking like ass big tits. I know this, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Like, come in your nose, baby girl. Gorgeous, sucking my back.
It, uh, that's right. Fuck you in a lot. I know I've been fucking a lot. That nigga wanna know if he fuck. I actually don't like this bird. I mean, y'all are here, but y'all ain't liking. I only got 3 likes right now, man. I need y'all to go crazy on that like, man. We gonna get to it. We're gonna get to the subject matter. Let's go. But we gonna vibe out to little. You know what I mean? Playboy Cardi. Hey man, when you done being high, you gotta actually not be high. You gotta be more clear minded. And I say that as somebody who's sipping. If you sipping up on this Friday night, we gonna allow you. But what I won't allow is for y'all to rock out with me without getting them likes up. Get the likes up. Talk to me in the chat. Let's have some fun. 2024 music. Let's go, man. Gang. Gang, gang, gang. We're gonna start the topics in a bit. Don't worry about it, man. We gotta warm y'all up. I gotta warm y'all up, man. I have to tease y'all. I have to warm y'all up as my thing is warming up, as whatever's going on is going on. We gonna get it on and we gonna have fun. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Come on, man. Fair use, fair use. I know YouTube's gonna play with me, but I don't know. I used to really dislike Playboy Cardi. You know what I mean? Get in the chat. Is Cardi whack? You know what I mean? I'm be real. I'm be real. I'm putting it in the chat. Is talk to me, chat. Is Playboy Cardi trash? And I say this as somebody who used to actually hate and despise everything about Playboy Cardi. I'm be real with you. I thought mumble rapper, SoundCloud weirdo, vampire. He was on that bike. Well, okay. I ain't gonna go that far, but I thought he was flexible, weird type nigga, man. But then I heard a bit more of his music in the slightly open mind, and I'm like, he ain't too bad. He ain't too bad. And actually, not only is he ain't too bad, he actually, you could say that he's more of a pioneer, that he takes a lot of risks. Because a lot of these rap niggas sound the exact same and they're not contributing a lot to the music out there, right? If you want to sound the same and be the same dude as a clone of this clone, the same version of this version, and you're not original and you haven't done anything in music to differentiate yourself, I don't respect it. I really don't respect it. Why don't I respect it? I don't respect individuals in music who just want to be the next carbon copy of another nigga or another individual. See, that's why I have some slight respect for Playboy Cardi because he tries to be himself. At least I salute him for the attempt because a lot of times in music, especially modern hip hop music, a lot of people are just playing get along, go along to get along games and not actually caring about the art. So when I ask, is Playboy Cardi trash? It depends. Are you the type of individual who likes the same type of music all the time? Or do you like something risky, something at least attempting to be different than whatever you've already seen? Ask yourself that. And while you're asking yourself that, I better see them likes go up to 6, man. Let's go. Shout out to the 6. Let's go. And shout out to the 613, not T dot. Talking about 613. Let's go. Y'all better figure out that area code. That's for y'all to figure out. Let's go, man. I like that. Come on in, 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 come on in. Mm-mm. Music. Have my- Man, this is MF and fire, man. I don't even know why I asked that in the chat, because this is fire, man. This dude ain't trash. Why did I even post that? Let's go there. Mhm, 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 mhm.
Where the fuck my black? Where the fuck my?
Whatever. I didn't know I was a fan of Cardi or Opium or whatever they doing, because I thought this whole ish was whack, bruh. I'm just gonna keep it a bean. I thought the whole ish was whack. 'Cause I thought this whole ish was whack. And I'm not BSing with you because this is that new age SoundCloud type shit. And it kind of grew on me because I'm like, let me give this a chance. And one of my favorites, my boy put me on too, Ken Carson. Get in the chat, man, if you rock with Ken Carson. I love this rap. By the way, I don't rock with the like demonic and weird goth imagery. I rock with the music though, but the weird goth imagery, I don't fuck with it. I'm just being real with you. By the way, like the stream, like the video, man. I better see 5 likes in that bit, man. Get it up to 6, actually, man. The goal is 10 likes. I want 10 likes, man. I want 10 likes. If you haven't already liked the stream, man, I don't know what the hell you doing, man. Hey, man. Before any kind of pop and X, any type of weird ish we doing, I want to say this. Cheers to us. And this is a special that I do, only that I do. The super chats I get, I'm gonna do a shot on every super chat. You know what I mean? So cheers to us. Shot per super chat. I'm just gonna get the party started with a fresh shot. Let's get it now. Yeah. Mm. 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 It's fucking hard. Hard, man. I'm sorry, man. I rock with that nigga, man. I rock with that nigga Ken Carson, bruh. Shout out to my dude Sleepy Hollow for that, 6.99 super chat. Shouts out to you, bruh. Yo, and I'm happy you fuck with Ken Carson, man. It's very, very good. 6.99. Shout out to that 69, man. If you wanna rock with your boy a bit more and you wanna send some more super chats, I'm not saying no. This is the last track before we get to the shits, man. Before we get to the topics. Again, big up to Sleepy Euphoria. Shout out to him for sending that super chat. Goes a long way, man. Much love, homie. Let's go.
Why wouldn't it? Got it out the mud, so I'm pouring.
Frank Wood. By the way, y'all gotta rock with Lucky, man. He's one of my favorite artists out here, man. Fantastic artist, fantastic rapper, man. Mm. Shout out to the super chat, man. Again, respect, family. Mm. Again, fair use, fair use. I do not own this piece of content. Actually, you know what? I'm actually not even following my rules, man. I said any super chat that I get, I'm taking a shot. So guess what? I'm gonna take a shot. I'm gonna take a shot. I'm not gonna put the type of alcohol I'm showing out there because we have not gotten sponsored by anybody. But if you're a big corporation, you want to sponsor your boy, feel free to hit me up. You know what I mean? Feel free to rock with your boy. But like I said, and like I promised, whenever I get a super chat, I will take a shot. So I got the super chat from Sleepy Euphoria. Shout out to bro. Friday night, we gotta cheers it up. After this, we're gonna get to the topics, man. I gave y'all 40 minutes of hits, man. You know what I mean? I'm a straight up porn star here. 40 minutes of hits. Cheers, man. Let's go, man. Let's get it. If anybody else want to tap in, I appreciate y'all. If not, at least get your boy with that likes. We're aiming for 10 likes on this stream before we done, bro. Let's go, man. You gotta give her right back. You gotta give her right back. You can't fall out about a slut. And why do I say this? I say this as somebody who almost fell out with my boy about a slut. Keep in mind, my I was like 17, 18. That was not P, that was not player. We do not fall out about sluts, man. I'm sorry. My boy you don't fall out about a slut, man. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm not even actually, you know what? I'm not even sorry. We're not falling out about sluts, man. You know what I mean? And the fact that he said that is a fact, man. And shout out to Lucky, man. Shout out to all of these rappers, all of these so-called SoundCloud rappers who actually are making an impact in hip hop. They're at least trying something new. But like I said, man, if anybody, spoiler alert right now, we're gonna start talking about the topic at hand. We're gonna talk about this show, man. I'm gonna show you the trailer for it. Spoiler alert, you better stop listening at this point, or you have to fast forward in the next 30 or so minutes, man. So this is the trailer for the show that we're going to talk about. Let's go. By the way, fair use, fair use. I don't own this piece of content. This belongs to Netflix. Okay. This is not a property of mine. This is a Netflix uh actual production. Copyright claims. YouTube don't play with your boy. Let's go.
I'm gonna need you to walk me through what happened.
And I'm gonna give you some perspective. This is the trailer for the uh Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. All right, that's the supreme. Get in the chat if you know about the this actual story before it actually came out. So the Menendez brothers, if you know about it, if you've known about it, or heard about it before this show, let me know. Get in the chat, talk to me. And if you're sipping tonight, let me know what you're drinking on. Or if you're sober tonight, let me know what you sober on. Well, you're obviously sober. If you are, you know what I mean, smoking or doing whatever, let me know what you on, man. Let's have fun. I don't own this piece of content, man. This belongs to Netflix. Netflix, dog. And it's a lot of cheap effing nuts, y'all. Crazy. This trailer is nuts, man. Especially here where they're clapping their parents. Like, look at that. Like, clap it, like, bro. Like, yo, with a shotgun, y'all. With a shotgun. They are and crazy trailer. Insane. And I want to give y'all some perspective, right? So, I don't believe in trigger warnings or anything like that, but I do believe in, being mindful of things. And part of being mindful is understanding the context of things. So I'm gonna start this off like this. If any of y'all have ever been abused any type of way, I know that my platform, at least on the streaming platform, uh gets a lot of American hits, or at least people in America who are watching it. But for my Canadian viewers, man, I put a link right in there regarding Canada.ca. So if somebody's experiencing violence or abuse, I put the link right here. Depending on whatever province you in, you can go here and find the links. What's happened here is there's even a male crisis line right here. So I'm gonna copy and paste it in the chat. You know what I mean? So if you're a male who's been abused, this is the Ontario line for y'all to call. And why am I talking about this? Because this entire show, the Menendez brothers show, right? They know Diddy about it, but it's literally men who've been abused. So most of my audience is male. Y'all know what it is. And if you not have access to that, you better hit that 911, okay? And I say this as a warning of the topics that I'm going to talk about because that whole track, Suck It or Not, right? By Cameron Giles was about consent, was about consent, right? And this matters to this conversation because we're going to talk about consent, right? If you violate somebody, man or woman, even child, disgusting as that is, you deserve whatever comes to you. You deserve to get even clapped. And that's the premise of this show. That was the premise of the entire, you know what I mean, Menendez brothers trial. Lyle and Eric Menendez were abused by their father, right? They were abused by their father. Now, the TV show itself, right?
And we are never gonna fucking.
The TV show itself, I'm gonna give it. I mean, how much spoiler alert is it? Because this thing actually happened. This trial actually happened. I'm gonna give the show a 7 out of 10. I could even lower it out to 6 out of 10. Is it entertaining? Yes. Is it gripping? Yes. Is it something that you want to watch and understand? Yes. But it uses a style called the Rashman style. Okay. So I'm gonna read an article over here on the Hollywood Reporter, which breaks it down a little bit more. You know what I mean? And gives y'all some perspective. And then I'm gonna let y'all know my opinion right after, right? So as I say, man, if you've watched the show, let me know in the chat. If you haven't watched the show, all good. This is obviously spoilers, but how much spoilers can it be? Because this whole case happened 30 plus years ago. And evidently Lyle and Kyle Menendez are in jail for life. They got found guilty for the murder of their parents. Their reasoning, again, was because their father abused them sexually, physically, and emotionally. And their mother, Kitty Menendez, allowed it or even encouraged it. There's even accounts that she abused Eric Menendez. I'm gonna I'm gonna do a news article right after where we're gonna talk about it a bit more. So let's read it. How TikTok and Instagram inspired monsters: the Eric and Lyle Menendez story. Ryan Murphy's latest true crime series has a Rush Rashomon a style approach to his storytelling, and the idea came from social media platforms where for years creators had been re-examining their case. Hit making television mastermind Ryan Murphy's latest reimagination, reimagining of a sensational murder from the 1990s is the second entry in his Monsters series, which goes plural as it takes a Rashomon style approach in recreating the brutal 1987 murders of Jose and Kitty Menendez. The series presents the before and after of the night the couple was gunned down in their Brentwood home by their two sons. After the world premiere of the pilot episode in New York last week, Murphy. By the way, this article was written, I believe, maybe the 20th. Murphy, along with the show's co-creator Ian Brennan. By the way, yeah, this was on the 19th, about a week ago. About a week ago. You know what I mean? Shout out Bobby Schmurder. You know what I mean? Get in the chat. Let me know how y'all feel. If y'all have watched the show, get in the chat. After the world premiere of the pilot episode in New York last week, Murphy, along with the show's co-creator Ian Brennan, revealed that the project was sparked by TikTok and Instagram creators who had championed the case of releasing the brothers from prison for years. This is huge. This is huge, no Diddy, because the show took a very sympathetic tone towards Eric and Lyle Menendez. Now, get in the chat or just let me know, do y'all think they were innocent or guilty? Now, why does this matter? It matters because out of all the 9 episodes, there were maybe 2 of them that actually showed that these brothers were actually sadistic psychopaths or murderous killers, right? They literally dedicated one episode, episode 5, which I think was fantastic, to the story of abuse, right? That's why I put these resources in the chat. I put these resources in the chat for a reason, because whether you actually have been abused or people are watching or listening, feel free to reach out to those resources. I am not a abuse expert. I personally have never been abused in that way, sexually that is. Emotionally, maybe that's debatable. Physically, I'm African. We all got abused by our parents. It is what it is. But the type of abuse that, Eric and Lau Menendez are talking about is something that's linked to something called parent side. So parent side, I'm actually search it up right now, and it's something that is, um, you know what I mean, which is linked to people who've been actually, you know what I mean, been victims that kill their parents. So here's the actual definition: parricide, a person who murders his or her mother or father, or sometimes a close relative. An act of parricide. Okay. So there's a difference actually, which is parricide or parenticide, the killing of one's mother and father or the close relatives. So parricide, the act, uh, patricide, sorry, is the act of killing one's father. So what the case of the Menendez brothers was a parricide, right? Or parenticide, which is they killed both, or they unalived. Maybe I should watch out for YouTube censors or the algorithm. I'm gonna get flagged on this episode. It is what it is. Again, the only way we can fight the algorithm is by liking, sharing, and if you want to go as far as sending that super chat, I would not mind. I ain't gonna stop you. I ain't mad at you. But irregardless, you know, commonly when kids unalive or clap their parents or turn their TV off, it's linked to a deeper reason. And the reason that, you know, Eric and Lyle Menendez did this allegedly was because they were getting abused. Now, that is something that's interesting because what happened with that trial is that the first trial was a mistrial. There was no clear verdict from the jury. And then it went to a second trial where they were, you know, convicted and found guilty of first degree murder. Then there was a sentencing. In California at that time, there was a death penalty or there was life in jail without parole. They got life in jail without parole instead of the death sentence, right? And regardless of what you think, right, the way the show displayed that Rashram style, Rosh Roman, I'm getting it wrong. It is what it is. The way it displayed that style, it just made it very clear that they were siding with the brothers. Now, keep in mind, this show actually is extremely sympathetic to them. So watch the trailer one more time, man. I'm gonna head out again. Fair use. I don't own this content. Watch the trailer one more time as I come right back. See how y'all feel about it. I will say this: the trailer is fire. If anything, the trailer is actually on point. It is absolutely flames. If y'all have watched that show, get in the chat if you watch that show. Let me know how y'all feel about it. Obviously, let's get my ish to 10 likes, man. Stop playing with me, man. If you haven't liked the stream yet, I don't know what you're doing, man. Let's absolutely crazy. Let me finish reading this article. The series presents the before and after of the night the couple was gunned down in their Brentwood home by their two sons. After the world premiere and the pilot in New York last week, Murphy, along with the show's co-creator Ian Brennan, revealed the project was sparked by TikTok and Instagram creators who had championed the case of releasing the brothers from prison for years. Monsters, the Eric and La Menendez story, out on Thursday on Netflix. This has been out for about a week, a little more than a week, with all episodes available, is unique in tone in its approach to the narrative that many Americans who watch the trial on court, on TV in the early 90s feel that it is an open and shut case of greedy sons committing parricide to live a luxury lifestyle. That's another part of the narrative that I didn't talk about. Once they killed their parents, Eric and Lyle Menendez spent $700,000 of their inheritance from their parents, right? In the few months that they were out free. Why does this matter? To give y'all more context, the reason that Eric and Lyle Menendez got caught with the crime is that Eric Menendez spoke to his psychologist and admitted to him that he killed the parents. Psychologists ended up recording their sessions, right? And because Eric Menendez threatened the psychologist to kill him, psychologist turned over the tapes to the police. Police subsequently arrested the brothers. Bada bing, bada boom. They go to trial. It is what it is. The key here is that in the 1990s, when all this trial was going on, with this whole drama, this whole thing was going on, it was a lot of like an open and shut case. What do I mean by that? It means that this was a thing that the general public came to accept that, hey, these are two brothers who killed their parents in order for them to keep money and get the inheritance of their parents. Two greedy, annoying little kids, little punks, who committed an atrocious crime of killing their parents clearly for the money, for the manion. That's what it was categorized as. But over time, the Menendez brothers, they were popular, but over time, the Menendez brothers gained popularity on social media. They gained popularity everywhere, and especially with the wave of true crime these days, people were willing to see their side more than ever. And we gonna get there. We gonna get there, man. I'm slow stroking y'all. If y'all are not in the chat, speaking to my boy, to me, holla at me, man. I don't bite. I do not bite unless we have consented to that, and you're a shorty. I might bite you a little bit. A prearranged kinky arrangement. Again, shout out to my boy Sleepy Euphoria in the chat, man. Everybody in the chat, come holler at me. And if you're shy about getting the chat, I just want you to at least smash that like button, man. The goal is 10 likes in the stream, man. We want 10 likes in the stream for us to have fun. Like I said, if I get a super chat, I'm taking a shot. Let me finish this article. All right. Monsters, the Eric and La Menendez story out on Thursday on Netflix, with all episodes available, is unique in tone and its approach to the narrative that many Americans who watched the trial on court TV in the early 90s felt was an open and shut case of greedy sons committing parricide to live a luxury lifestyle. Instead, the show presents the abuse the sons said at the defense trial that they suffered for years are as fact. This is very interesting. Their father, RCA executive Jose Menendez, emotionally and sexually abused them for years as their mother did nothing. A brief in this once scuttled notion of prolonged abuse, mm, which was not even admissible at their second joint trial that ended with both sons being found guilty and handed life sentences with no possibility of parole, is central to the TikTok movement that inspired this series. The re-examination of the Mendez brothers' defense spread via several TikTok videos. There's a link to this. And then gained momentum after a former member of the boy band Menudos claimed in 2023 that he was sexually abused by Jose Menendez as a child. So I'm gonna give you some retrospective here. A lot of this show was about speculations and hearsay and not actually a lot of evidence, which makes it again a work of fiction. What am I talking about? Obviously, if it's a show on Netflix, it's gonna be dramatized. It's gonna be a lot of works of fiction. It's not gonna be a documentary, is what I'm getting here. So this whole show, you know what I mean? Menendez brothers is dramatized and it's not based on the truth. So it takes away from it a little bit more. This Rashmar style, Rashmar, whatever the hell it is a style that is so generous to the brothers that it sets them up so much like the protagonists, that in reality they're anti-heroes. These are two men, because as soon as you turn 18 in the United States, you know what I mean, as Eric was, and then 21 as Lyle was, you are viewed as an adult. Two men, young men, obviously, that instead of dealing with their abuse in a constructive way, decided to go clap, pop, pop, pew, pew, their father. Who was their father? I'm going to make this very clear. Jose Menendez. Now, I will say this. If y'all watch the show, Javier Bardem deserves an Oscar, an Emmy, some kind of award for his portrayal of Jose Menendez, man. It made you think that this MFer should have gotten clapped. like, bro, I was watching the show and I'm like, bruh, I need to find this dude and pop him in his face, man. I'm not even gonna say that. Pop him in his ish, man. I mean, because of what he was doing to these boys. Now, on the other side, the sons were not innocent creatures too. Talking about Eric and Lyle, they had a lot of issues as well. This was a dysfunctional family, man. The whole picture, dysfunctional. The whole thing, dysfunctional as hell. rich as hell, but dysfunctional as a MFer. That's why I say again, Javier Bardem, who played the father, deserves an award, right? Because again, what you see as a pattern of abusers, you know what I mean, who have commonly been abused in the past. And I think that when they did, I believe it was episode seven, or possibly six, where they did an episode focused heavily on Jose Menendez. I think that was the second most important episode. Episode five, obviously, the episode of Eric Menendez talking um, to his defense attorney. That was important, but the episode where they focused on Jose Menendez, I think that was extremely important as well because it got you to see that he himself had been a victim of abuse, right? And that's why he himself became an abuser. Now, is this a verbatim story? No, because there's no proof of it. And that's where this whole Netflix show loses its legs. There is a lot of fictional liberties that were taken. And that's why I even put all these links in here because it's going to trigger some people, man. It's going to, if you were touched by your weird uncle, if you were abused by whoever you was abused by, this is going to make you feel some type of way. This show. Now, I do credit the showrunners and the producers for them putting some kind of links or some kind of, you know, notices at the end of the triggering episodes. But my thing is, the whole show is predicated on the abuse of these boys or these young men. And it's a topic that's not really discussed in the mainstream. Men and boys getting abused, right? And that retaliation by them murdering their or unaliving their father and mother, it would make perfect sense. So a lot of this narrative, a lot of the show is taken from the boys' point of view, the sons, Eric and La. But I think when they got to the father's point of view, that's when it reached its peak and apex. In my point of view, in my view, because it's so different from what we see about these stories, man. But get in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna read the rest of this article here. So there are thousands of TikToks of young people, specifically young women. Interesting. Talking about the Eric and Lyle Menendez case. Murphy said at the event in New York on September 12th, I was blown away because it seemed so current to them. Brennan, who had worked on with Murphy since Glee, interesting, said that as a culture, there's finally a vernacular to contemplate and then discuss sex abuse and mental health. And it wasn't something that existed in the 90s as the trial unfolded on cable TV. I was a kid when the case happened. We didn't have cable, so I wouldn't like watching it on court TV. All that I knew from Saturday night all that I knew from Saturday Night Live, which the premise of the sketch is that they cried on the stand, he recalled. That was the level of people wrapping their heads around this. Oh, look at those guys. Look at those men crying on the stand. Not really a thought as to why they were crying. He added, it was just not a sophisticated way of looking at trauma, which I think we understand better now. And I think that feels really electric and alive for a certain age group who look back at their parents' generation like, what were you doing? You didn't know how to see the world. Jordan Wynn launched a Menendez supporter Instagram account, which has the handle Revisiting Menendez after watching the entire trial on YouTube. He told the New York Times back in 2021 that he is disgusted with the way the media at time and in subsequent years downplayed the brother's abuse. He also mentioned attorney Alan Dershowitz, 1994 book, The Abuse Excuse. By the way, man, if you here, you better get these likes up, man. We trying to hit 10 likes in this bit, man. Get your boy rocking, man. I need to see 10 likes in this, man. We have 6 people in here. I love all 6 of y'all, man. But y'all gotta get smack that like button as we go, man. Get the likes blinging. Let's go. We reaching for 10 before the end of the stream. Let's go. So the Alan Dershowitz 1994 book, The Abuse Excuse, is certainly an example of how any belief around the impact of trauma has kicked away any favor of accusing victims of falsely claimed abuse as a shield to avoid punishment. For when and other TikTok and Instagram creators, the peak infotainment of the Menendez trial is in the 1990s is the folder of seeking truth, justice, and equity. The series in, in incidentally coincides with the brother's third time seeking a habeas hearing, a first step in having their sentence reduced for time served. So what they're saying here, I'm gonna take a beer break, man. I've been yapping too much. Get in the chat. Talk to your boy. Mm. Shout out to me, man. Shout out to y'all the vibing. Cheers. Mm. Get in the chat. Let me know what y'all sipping on, what y'all vibing on tonight. So the brothers, Eric and Lyle Menendez, are seeking a habeas trial. What does a habeas trial mean? These are the brothers right here. A habeas trial, a habeas hearing is a step with removing or at least getting themselves free. So what's happened is, as it says in the article, the brothers, they've been in jail for 30 plus years. They have a life sentence, right? And what they're aiming to do is get out of jail based on the habeas hearing, meaning habeas hearing. I did a quick Google. It is a summons with the force of court order. It is addressed to the custodian, a prison official, for example, and demands that a prisoner be brought before the court and their custodian present proof of authority, allowing the court to determine whether the custodian has lawful authority to detain the prisoner. Right. So, basically, what this is saying is that they're trying to get out of their sentencing for time served for the murders. Right. The series could be seen as, in a way, promoting the brothers, helping their case around, because it makes such a great presentation of abuse that sometimes it overachieves. It's like when you aim for the moon, aim for the sky, and you hit the moon, right? That's why I put in these resources, because it's going to trigger a lot of people. That's why I gave the show a 7 out of 10, or even a 6 out of 10, because despite the amazing acting, specifically by Javier Bardem, you know what I mean, who killed it beyond measure, to the point where I think, bro, we got to look at this nigga. We got to search up this dude, man. Because if he plays the role that well of a closeted megalomaniac psychopath father, hey, man, we might have to look at this. We might have to investigate this dude, man. We might have to look inside this dude's browser history, man. We got to investigate this nigga, man. It's like crazy. But irregardless of the fact here, is that the brothers, Eric and Lyle Menendez, are trying to get out of jail based on um the time served. And people on TikTok and social media are saying the same thing relating to this article. So here's what it is. Whether Monsters, which strikes a unique tone of horror and humor, I will say this, it has some funny elements, and has a pilot episode that displays one of the most violent, shocking murder scenes filmed for basic cable. I will say that the murder scenes were kind of crazy. It was nuts. It's going to help their case remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. Again, I believe this whole show was a promotion for these brothers and it's going to help these brothers in the future because it was looking at this old case mostly from the son's point of view, Eric and Lyle. The Dahmer story, the previous show, was way better because it was an outsider point of view, bro. It told the story from an outsider point of view. It was not trying to get inside the mind of the murderer, dog. And I think that's where they slipped up and messed up. Anyways, let me finish this article. But Netflix can influence some rethinking of the motives of the brutal killings and now define them as much as the TikTok and Instagram have already. Their freedom may be within reach. That's what I'm saying. Oh, that's exactly what I'm saying. It already seems interest has been peaked. Google Trends is showing searches for their name quadrupled this week. So I'm gonna show y'all a clip from ABC News. Again, fair use. I don't own this content. But I want to get y'all thoughts. So get in the chat or rock with me, or if y'all don't want to do that, smash that like button, man, and let's get rocking, man. Let's
Their
get
jailhouse interview with one of the
again fair use. I don't own this piece of content. This belongs to ABC News. Okay.
infamous Menendez brothers, who together murdered their
And this profile came out about 7 years ago. This is not recent in the
parents
slightest.
in their lavish Beverly Hills mansion 27 years ago, where they spoiled rich kids run amok or enraged victims of sexual abuse. We're about to hear from witnesses the convicting jury never saw or heard almost 3 decades later.
And that's actually a valid question. I'm gonna pose it in the chat. You know what I mean? Spoiled rich kids or abuse victims? Let me know. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to put a poll, but in all honesty, I do not know how to put polls inside the chat. I'm just gonna be 100% real. I don't know how to do it. I I will research it. I will look into it. I'm gonna research it. I'm gonna look into it. But irregardless of this, I want people to talk to me. Do you think, or do y'all believe that there were genuine abuse victims in this situation, or um, or spoiled rich kids who had the intent to unalive their parents, man? So this is an ABC News article that talks about it. Again, I give the show, like I said before, a seven. Actually, you know what? Effort. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 because the performances of the actors were fantastic. I'm not going to play with that. The actors did a fantastic job. You know what I mean? They did a great job. And I'm gonna give the credit to them again over here. Um it's gonna be looking over here. Uh Obviously Javier Bardem, we gotta look at his we gotta look at his folder, see what's up with him. Kitty by Chloe Savini. She did all right. Cooper Coke, who played Eric Menendez, did a fantastic job. And Nicholas Alexander Chavez, he did a fantastic job as well. Basically, the individuals who played the two brothers did such a fantastic job that it made you extremely sympathetic towards them. Now, something part of the narrative that we got to talk about is that they implied that these two had a homosexual type relationship. I don't believe that, and it's an account that was brought up by one of the people covering this case, uh, Dominic Dunn or something like that. Irregardless of that, it looked like a cop out. It looked like some. And you know what? That's where the show kind of loses me. This is where it kind of loses me because the show was so focused on the brothers that it went in a goofy area. You understand what I'm trying to say here? Like the poster in itself is some homoerotic ish, man. And why is it like that? I'll tell you why it's like that. It's because the actual showrunner, Ryan Murphy, is himself a gay man. And a lot of his shows, they cover gay topics, dog. So he is incentivized to put gay scenes in his shows. What was the point of having gay scenes in the show? Maybe you can link it to Jose Menendez as a closeted gay man or pedophile, okay, or PDF file, I should say. But it didn't add to the narrative. It almost seemed like you doing too much, G. You doing the most. If you left the story about the abuse of Eric and Lyle Menendez, you'd be straight. Like, that's all you need. You don't need to do anything more than that. You're doing too much, G. And that's one of the problems I had with the whole show. It was doing way too MF and much, man. Anyways, let's listen to the
Finally
article.
getting the full story. We warn you, some of the language you're about to hear is extremely graphic.
I am the kid that did kill his parents, and no river of tears has changed that.
Tonight, Lyle Menendez speaking publicly from prison in a rare interview, 27 years after he...
Again, fair use, fair use. This came out about 7 years ago. You know what I mean? 2017.
His brother Eric brutally murdered their parents.
It's shocking to think about that happened, that I could have been involved in taking anyone's life and my parents' life. It's still jarringly. It seems unimaginable because this seems so far removed from who I am and who I was.
Killing the parents is a bad family.
I'm just a normal kid.
Oh, Eric, you're a normal kid who killed your parents.
Yeah, I know.
A family saddled with secrets and lies that exploded with this 911 call.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
So again, I'm gonna pause this right quick. They were bullshitting, man. They were lying. Specifically Lyle. And for me, I'm not stupid. I'm gonna say the truth. I think Lyle was one of the biggest pushers of this whole thing. When I say pushers of this whole thing, I'm saying that Lyle Menendez was one of the catalysts and the most vibrant person to get the parents killed. Now, you could argue that Lyle was the one who was abused the longest amongst them two boys. I say that Lyle himself was just somebody who wanted to unalive his parents, specifically his father, right? So I'm not saying that Lyle Menendez is the mastermind, right? But I'm saying that Lyle Menendez, bro, he's the older brother. He's the one who is leading his younger brother. I'm sorry, that's usually how it works among siblings. It's the older brother who runs the show, or at least his first place, and leading the energy. So much so to the point that Lyle Menendez, after shooting his parents, he went back to the car to grab more buckshot, meaning grab more bullets to finish off his parents. So it's no coincidence that Lyle is the one who's on the phone call trying to talk to police and lay the narrative that the parents got shot by the mob.
I'm sorry, kill my parents. Pardon me?
Parents got shot by the mob.
reporters who watched it all unfold.
It's not supposed to happen in Beverly Hills. A movie executive and his wife were brutally slain in their $1 million mansion.
That follow.
The show actually showed this. Fair use again. The show actually displayed this, where the sons were getting reprimanded by the father because they did not get away with crimes. The fact that they got caught with crimes, right? So, at least from the description of this individual who was friends with the family, she's confirming a narrative in the show. And the narrative is that the father was more concerned about them getting caught than them doing crimes. Ain't that some foreshadowing, man? Ain't that some foreshadowing? Again, I ask the questions: are they spoiled rich kids or abuse victims? Let me know in the chat. Do you think the Menendez brothers were actually abuse victims, or were they spoiled rich kids who wanted their father's multi-million-dollar fortune? I already know what I know. I already gave y'all my opinion. I think that these kids were spoiled and rich, and yes, they got abused. I do concede that. And abuse takes different forms and has different reactions. I'm not going to minimize that. But I think the more likely chance is that they were mad and angry at their father, and they resented and hated their father and their mother and decided to pop him in the ish. And specifically, I believe that Lyle was the catalyst of this, and Eric was following along. That's what I believe, y'all. If y'all disagree, let me know. If y'all agree, let me know.
Leaders.
Describe your relationship with your father.
Brutal.
This is a fantastic interview with Barbara Walters. If y'all ever get the chance to watch this video, it's fantastic.
Painful. Torturous. And yet, I admired him. Success was.
I think the Menendez brothers were close because they were fighting the common enemy, which was their father.
There you go. There you go. And again, this is the thing about fathers and parents, especially raised in immigrant households. Their father was clearly a Cuban immigrant, right? Who had gone through, at least from what they say, abuse. He himself was abused. So allegedly, according to not only the show, but the father himself was a victim who became a perpetrator slash predator. We gonna get to closer versions of this, so we gonna get deeper into this. But the fact remains is that the father in the show was a victim who became a perpetrator and an abuser. Right? Really key thing. I think the way that they displayed that, I believe it was episode 7, was absolutely fantastic, and it actually helps set you up to understand the layers of this. Anyways, go ahead.
He believed that
My parents.
There is no issue as to who killed Jose and Mary Louise Menendez.
This is huge. This is a huge part of the case because this is just delving deeper into the brothers. You know what I mean? Into why they did what they did in the trial episodes, specifically episode 8 and 9. They were so focused on the brothers being innocent that they maybe had like 10 or 20 minutes of the entire last 2 episodes, about almost 2 hours. 10 or 20 minutes were actually showing the other side of the argument. So for you taking the Rashman, whatever the word is, argument, they use that argument only for a small percentage of the show. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this whole show was biased, bruh. And if you're gonna be biased, then stay biased the whole way. Don't try to play with me. Excuse me. Don't try to play with me. My thing is, don't try to play with me as a fool and rock my fiddle and try to show me just what I want to see. This whole show, I believe, was for TikTok. It was for TikTok. It was for Instagram. And may I argue that it was for women? I'm not trying to make this gendered. I'm trying to make this very clear that I believe the show was focused on getting a female audience because the female audience are huge in the true crime niche. So the showrunners focused on abuse. The showrunners focused on, you know what I mean, the guys being victims more than them actually being two murderers, because that's actually what they are and they admitted to it, right? They wanted to focus on them not being manipulative, which they were, specifically Lyle, Eric as well, right? Is this a smart decision? Obviously it's smart, it's intelligent, it makes a lot of money because this is the number one show on Netflix right now. Tons of views. So strategically, is it smarter and greater for business? Absolutely. Is it honest and truthful and high quality? Absolutely not. Is it objective? Absolutely not. Is it entertaining? Yes. Again, I gave it a 6. I lowered it as I was speaking about it. I started from a 7. I then gave it a 6 now. It's a 6 out of 10. Anyways, man, shout out to Daniel Murmur in the chat. Murmur in the chat. Appreciate you for tapping in, man. I better have you. You better have clicked that like button, man. Click that like button. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate your comment, and I'm trying to be as informative as possible, man. Let's go. And I might have skipped by a few things. Let's go back here and let's get back to where we were originally in the narrative.
Said they discovered the body.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria Braxton, for this comment, man. I am sorry they were sexually abused, but they shouldn't have killed their parents. They should have went on by their business and got out of the house. So, Victoria, you know what it is about 2024? A lot of people will say you're victim blaming. A lot of people will say you are, blaming the victim. I do not agree. I agree with you. They should have ran away and got out of there. Let me tell y'all something, man. I've been wronged in my life. I've been done dirty in my life. You don't think that in my mind I want to go out there and exact revenge on people who done messed me up? You don't think I think about that a lot? Have I enacted revenge on people who messed me up? I have. I definitely have. Right? But if I got revenge and actually did what I wanted to do to people who wronged me, I'd be in jail right now. I wouldn't be streaming right now. I'd be in jail. I'm just being with y'all. I would be in jail right now. Real shit. I would be in jail right now facing serious time or in jail for life if I did what I wanted to do to people who have done me dirty in life. I'd be in jail for life, probably. But why don't I do it or go to that level? Because I want to live a free life. And I decided to not only escape that, but leave things in the past where they were and run away from people and things that get me in that anger and that mood to enact revenge. I decided to move away from that. But the Menendez brothers clearly did not. So it's not victim blaming to say that we as human beings have all been done dirty. I don't care who you are. Anybody listening to my stream right now, my podcast right now, somebody has done you dirty. Somebody has violated you. Somebody has crossed your boundaries. Somebody has betrayed you. Somebody has done things that you didn't expect. They've snaked you. They have done maybe unimaginable things. And I'm sorry you went through that. I really am. I'll be real. I'm lucky enough. I've never been abused in a sexual manner, in an emotional manner, maybe physically, because I grew up African, man. I'm just gonna keep it a being. We all got we all got whooped, man. If you African, you know what it is. If you Spanish, you know what it is. You know what time it is. If you Asian, you know what time it is. And some white people might know what time it is. You you might have got physically what on some dot F 'em up type shit. You know what I mean? We've all gotten that belt, man. It is what it is. Like I'm not trying to say that it's right or wrong, but there's a certain level and time for it because there's a lot of children out here who are behaving incredibly irresponsible, and we should bring the belt back. Man, you know what it is, man? It's Friday night. I'm gonna get controversial. We should bring the belt back. Mm. But to any individuals who've gotten sexually abused or emotionally abused, that's not right. But we don't go and buy shotguns and shoot our abuser. Right? You know, this is a sensitive topic, right? By the way, shout out to Daniel. Yeah, the belt. Yeah. Facts. I got the belt. I got the slippers. I got the fan. I got the switch. I got everything, man. I was a badass little kid. I'm like, I feel bad for my mom. I was not a good son. I was definitely doing a whole lot of foolishness. Good thing my grades were good, so that was my saving grace. But I was definitely doing a lot of nonsense. So I salute the patience of my mother. Um, but irregardless of that, what we're getting to again, coming back to Victoria's comment, says, "I am sorry they were sexually abused, but they shouldn't have killed their parents. They should have went on by their business and got out of the house." People will say that's victim blaming, but I fully agree with Victoria. They had so many other ways of escaping, especially being raised in a wealthy household, especially having all that level of privilege. For them to put into their mind to go ahead and use guns and kill unalive their parents, I do not sympathize with that. I do not respect that. I do not inherently understand that. And I don't want to seem like I'm blaming the victim. I'm just speaking real of how I feel. You ain't gonna go out there and clap your parents in their face multiple times with a shotgun because of what they did. You have more power than that. Your power is walking away. Your power is not being a soft, influential bitch who is going to clap their parents for things that you can actually fix up yourself, man. I'm going to be right back. Listen to the show, man.
When they arrived home several hours.
To who killed Jose and Mary Louise Menendez. Why they were killed is what the focus of all of our evidence will be on.
Trials are storytelling competitions.
ABC's Terry Moran, a self-described rookie reporter at the time, covered the case extensively for Court TV.
So whoever tells the better story in a trial that's anchored in the facts as they come out, that's who's going to persuade the jury.
The prosecution was completely focused on the idea that Eric and Lyle Menendez were greedy rich kids that had.
By the way, I really want to emphasize that as we get to our next topic in a bit, man. I didn't even expect this, but we might do a 3 hour stream, man. F it. We might do a 3 hour stream We closing in on 2 hours of the stream, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. As I said, man, goal is 10 likes, man. 10 likes. The goal again is 10 likes. Goal is 10 likes. Let's get it. Share the stream with everyone. Let's get to 10 likes. Let's get to 10 likes. But I'm going to rewind back to what the reporter said, because we're gonna actually touch on this on our next topic. The fact remains is that the trial is about creating a better story than your opposition, right? Your opposition, in this case of the Menendez brothers, was the prosecution, the LA district attorney, LA DA's office in the 90s, right? And what happened was the Menendez brothers, I believe, they had a attorney who might have not been the best. Who was their attorney? Who was defending the Menendez brothers, specifically Eric Menendez, who I believe was the soft one in this situation. Eric was the softy, bro. Eric was the one who admitted to the psychologist that he killed his parents. So, in hindsight, if Eric had not snitched, they could have gotten away with the murder of their parents, the unaliving of their parents. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying the absolute fact that if Eric Menendez did not blab his mouth to his psychologist, they would have been freed. Not necessarily freed, but they wouldn't have gotten in jail for their entire lives. Eric's attorney was Leslie Abramson. Leslie Abramson was looked at as abrasive and disrespectful as a lawyer, to the point that she lost the second case, the second trial that got these brothers in jail for life. Now, she was able to make a mistrial in the first case, but the second case, when they retried it again, she was part of the loss. She was played by a pretty actress. She was pretty, but it almost felt like she was kind of a bitch, man. Like, if you watch the show, you were like, yo, this kind of a bitch. It's like, yo, I don't want to chill with this woman. Like, I was not like, would you want to chill with this woman? I would not. By the way, the actress that played Leslie Abramson, her name, I'm gonna search it up here again. Um, Ari Graynoa. It's right here. Ari Graynoa. Yeah, Graynoa. She did a very good job. Overall, the actors and actresses in the show did a fantastic job. It's not an issue with them. It's an issue with the script and the writing and the narrative structure. That's my problem. That's why I gave it a 6 out of 10. Get in the chat if you've watched it. 6 out of 10. Yeah.
As to who killed Jose and Mary Louise Menendez. Why they were killed is what the focus of all of our evidence will be on.
Trials are storytelling competitions.
There you go. Storytelling competitions. That's a fact. And as we get to our next topic, we're going to really find out the storytelling competition.
ABC's Terry Moran, a self-described rookie reporter at the time, covered the case extensively for...
Again, chat, get in the chat. Do you think the Menendez brothers were innocent or no? Did you like the show? And what would you rate the show?
TV.
So whoever tells the better story in a trial that's anchored in the facts as they come out, that's who's going to persuade the jury.
The prosecution.
You telling Lyle that,
You telling Lyle what?
So this is something that's displayed in the show as half acting, half real. By the way, shout out to my boy Sleepy Euphoria. Is the show fire? No. Is it worth a watch? Absolutely. Was it something that you can spend 6 to 7 hours watching and binging? Yes. I think you should. Is it a must watch? Like 100%? No. No, it's not. I think a documentary about the situation would be more impactful. But Sleepy, if you get the chance, check it out. Like I said, I give it a 6 out of 10. But I think just the whole trial and everything around it is more fascinating than the actual show. If y'all disagree with me, y'all disagree with me. It is. Sexual abuse is a real thing, y'all. Like, I'm not here to diminish that. You know what I mean? I'm not here to ish on men or boys who have been inappropriately touched by men or women, right? I'm not here to ish on that. I'm not here to lie on that. I'm telling y'all facts that the fact remains that if you have been touched or inappropriately dealt with as a minor or as an adult by other people who have should not have done that, you need to speak out and actually reach out to resources and people who can get you right. What I'm saying here is you shouldn't go out of your way to buy 2 shotguns and pop your abuser in the face, man. You have the chance of going to jail for life. Because as a man, this is a double standard of male and women, is that you do not get benefited out. So what I'm trying to say here is if Eric and Lau Menendez was Stephanie and Mackenzie Menendez and they popped their parents for sexual abuse over the years, they would be fine. They'd be free. It's a gender bias. It is what it is. It's called gender bias, right? And if you don't believe me, if y'all don't believe me, I'll show you where this literally happened. This literally happened with this shorty. Do y'all know who this is? Get in the chat. Who is this person? She killed her parent. She unalived her parent. She's free right now. She's free right now. Regardless of what you believe about her trial or feel about it. Right? So it is a bias between men and women. It is what it is. Right? But it doesn't mean that we can find solutions the other way to be, man. Anyways, let's finish off this video, man. I've been giving a lot of pauses. We're on topic 1. We got 2 more to go.
He would put me on my knees and he would guide me, all my movements, and I would have oral sex with him.
The days that Lyle and Eric Menendez testified to their claims of sexual abuse are among the most unforgettable days I've ever had as a journalist. To this day, my heart catches when I think about that.
It is definitely gripping, even on the shows where men, even though they're young men, talk about something as traumatic as sexual abuse. Again, y'all, I put it in the chat, y'all. I put it in the chat. 911 if you ever getting abused as a male or a woman. If you're in Ontario, this is the help hotline for men. You know what I mean? If you're in Canada, this is the link or this is the website for y'all to get resources. I am not an abuse counselor, bro. I am not a psychologist. I'm just a real dude out here having a stream, tipsy as hell, having fun with it. But if we look besides that, we have to come to the fact that these are male At least what they displayed in front of the jury, male victims, right? And their testimony at the time in the 1990s didn't fit the times. If they were to go through this right here in 2024, I think they'd be free men. Now, the debate is were they lying or not? That's for y'all to decide. Let's finish off this video. I've been saying let's finish off this video for a minute. Well, I do agree with that part. Eric, in that trial, in that video, he reacted to somebody who's going through something
I
traumatic.
remember thinking he's either the best actor in the world or this is a true
No, that wasn't acting. That was just facts. I think Lyle was embellishing, but I think Eric actually felt those
story.
ways. Let's go.
It became like a Rorschach test. You looked at Lyle Menendez, Eric Menendez, you either saw cynical, sinister, vicious killers, or you saw victims.
Jurors are unable to reach a verdict, hopelessly deadlocked.
Both brothers' trials ended in hung juries. Shortly after America was riveted by that other trial of the century, the second Menendez trials had no cameras in the courtroom. Lyle didn't even take the stand, limiting testimonies about the alleged sexual abuse. The verdict?
Lyle and Eric Menendez have been found guilty of murdering their parents. It took.
I think that's an important thing to state. And I done been paused this thing like 1,000 times. You guys gotta accept it at this point. It is what it is. Smash the like button, man. We aiming for 10 likes. That trial with OJ set this whole thing up. You feel me? It set this whole thing up. Let's go.
A second trial for the two to be convicted of murder in the first degree.
What went through your minds when you heard that verdict?
That I was going to spend the rest of my life in prison.
When we come back, the Menendez brothers find love behind bars. And could there ever be another court case for the convicted killers?
Every Mother's Day, I think about Kitty Menendez because what they did to their mother was pure, unadulterated evil.
What's good, people? What's good, people? Hope everybody's blessed. I'm having some issues, technical issues. Do not know how to react to this. Not too 100% sure, but I hope that we come back. I hope that we're back. Again, having some technical issues right now. If y'all are available in the chat, get in the chat. I do have a little update. Let's see what's going on here. If y'all are able to view the chat, if y'all are able to view your boy, let me know. Get in the chat, talk to your boy. Small update. If y'all are NBA hoops fans, there is a massive trade that just happened. The Knicks have acquired Karl Anthony Towns, Cat from Minnesota for Julius Irving, Randall first pick Detroit, and a first pick via Detroit sources tell me. I thought the show was ridiculous. Hey man, tell me more about it. Tell me more about it. I think this is, by the way, if y'all fans of basketball, this is a monstrous trade. I personally think the Wolves, Timberwolves, won this trade because Karl Anthony Towns is so inconsistent as a big that Anthony Edwards gets Dante DiVincenzo, who's a very reliable wing, 3-and-D type guy. Julius Randle, if he gets healthy, he is a very, very good big. Shout out to Daniel Manmore. Daniel for getting in the chat. Shout out to Violet coming inside talking about the case. So again, My last point about this. By the way, get in the chat if you think the Timberwolves or the Knicks won this trade. The Nova Knicks, I think, are over. I think it's done with them. YouTube is obviously playing games on your boy, so smash that like button, support your boy. Ultimately, the show, Monsters, the Eric Menendez and Lyle Menendez story, I think it missed the mark, man. I think the show missed the mark, meaning it could have been greater than it was, but it flopped because it was so much on the brother's side that it lost its flavor. It lost its flavor. Bro, let me give you an example. The Dahmer show. Do you think the Dahmer show was on Dahmer's side? No, it showed an objective reality that Dahmer was a monster who raped. Okay, I'm not gonna say that word. Raped and assaulted multiple, uh, multiple people in his community, and even ate them. The Dahmer show showed the reality of the monster, and unfortunately, the Menendez version showed them as borderline sympathetic figures in an attempt to make the show fully round. And I know YouTube is not rocking with me right now. It's clearly not rocking with your boy. So that's why, again, I say like the stream, support me, show me some love because YouTube definitely is playing its YouTube games. As a creator, it's really important that we get support, and support is easy as a like. That's the best way to support your boy. And if you want to patronize me, feel free to hit the super chat. That would be awesome. Shout out to my boy Sleepy Euphoria for showing your boy some love. Um, let's hear what Violet has to say. I don't think the public will ever know what really happened. I hate the true crime show, podcast, whatever they decide to do. It's disrespectful. You know what? I don't blame you with that because the true crime show podcast genre is incredibly popular. And you know what, Violet, I'm gonna be real with you. It's extremely popular among women. It's extremely popular among women. And why do I bring that up? It's extremely popular among women because these show producers and show creators, podcast creators, YouTube creators are so focused on the female point of view that they make these monsters, psychopaths, killers, sociopaths as sympathetic figures more than objective point of view of who they really are or the other side of who they are. You think that Ryan Murphy and the show producer of this show didn't purposefully look for men who are at least somewhat good looking or looking all right in order for them to present this show? They obviously did. If the Menendez brothers were ugly, there was no way they would have hired ugly actors to play these brothers. They did this by design, bruh. Why did they do that by design? Because they want to sell a TV show. They want to attract a female audience. So, yes, to a certain level, it is disrespectful. They're trying to humanize the perpetrators, the people who did them crimes. So, what Violet is saying, I agree with. I agree with. The whole true crime genre is to empathize the people who did the crimes. It is what it is. If we all dug deep to our evilest and worst natures, we could all get to doing crime. We could all get to it, man. You don't think I want to get to the shits? It is what it is. It is what it is. So Violet's, I'm gonna start Violet's comment that because it's a fact. It goes to humanize and borderline empathize with the unalivers, man. You think I'm gonna empathize with Jeffrey Dahmer? Hell no. And that's why the first season was fire. It was fire because we weren't empathizing with a reptilian killer, bro. We're not. We're not. But let me tell y'all about the next subject, man. We had fun a lot with that. Again, the goal is 10 likes, man. If you're watching this, get it to 10 likes. We just broke. By the way, not rest in peace, but you know what I mean? Woj ain't there. We got to talk about Sham Sharania for breaking this. Knicks acquiring Carl Anthony Towns from Minnesota for Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a first round pick via Detroit. Detroit, worst team in the NBA, clearly. Sources tell Shams and John. I'm not going to read that last name. Huge trade, blockbuster trade. Let's see what Shams is saying here. Knicks are sending salary, including Daquan Jeffries and draft compensation to Charlotte in a three-team Carl Anthony Town Julius Randle deal. So the Charlotte Hornets are involved in this deal. Wow, three-team trade. Okay. Developing story for the Atlantic, John Kay on Timberwolves and Knicks blockbuster deal sending Cat to New York, Julius and Randall and Dante DiVincenzo and a first round pick. Now, the Knicks are definitely contenders. They did need a big, so Cat comes in here. He's good. But I think the Timberwolves win this trade for the simple fact that the T Wolves, they needed something more at the wing, man. You know what I mean? Anthony Edwards was alone. He needed somebody. They needed somebody else at the wing, bro. And Cat was so hit and miss. Julius Randle will give you a 15 and 10, 20 and 10 type performance if he's on the court. You feel me? But we got to talk about the diddler. I'm sorry, y'all. We got to talk about the diddler, man. And you know what? This goes to the main topic or main thing that I'm talking about this whole stream. Is you going to touch it or not? Are you going to touch it or not? You know what I mean? Or as Cameron said, you gonna suck it or nah? What am I talking about? I'll tell y'all what I'm talking about. I'm gonna share this video from Reggie Wright Jr., man. Actually, no, we're gonna start with Stephen A. Smith, man. This came out a few days ago, man.
Let's get to the latest.
Again, fair use. I don't own this piece of content, man. Let's go.
Sean Diddy Combs, who's currently sitting in a federal jail awaiting trial on sex trafficking and racketeering charges.
Again, this belongs to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith show. I do not own this piece of content. But it does lean into the Eric Menendez story, Eric and Lau story, and about abuse, man, and about all type of ish, man. I know this whole show is gonna get blocked by YouTube, so Patreon members gonna see this first and early. It is what it is. Let's go.
Yesterday, a new accuser went public with more accusations against the music mogul. Talia Graves claims in a civil lawsuit that Combs and a bodyguard drugged, bound, and raped her in 2001 and filmed the incident. Graves is represented by famed litigator Gloria Allred, who is no stranger to representing women in high-profile cases, okay? Here's a list. We're speaking of Gloria Allred here, okay? Here's a list of just some of
I hate to make this racial, but we got to talk about it. Why is Gloria Allred always in legal disputes with black men? Hmm? Get in the chat. A lot of black men are in her legal disputes. Hmm? Is it that black men in themselves are inherently evil or have done things wrong against women? I don't believe that. I believe that Gloria Allred is one of these attorneys and lawyers who is a bag chaser or ambulance chaser. And when it comes towards major black celebrities who are accused of anything, somehow she shows up. O.J. Simpson, Tiger Woods, Bill Cosby. And ain't it funny that Gloria Allred is there for the Diddy trial? Ah, it's interesting, right? It's quite interesting, right?
The women she's represented.
If I'm tripping, let me know. Get in the chat, man. We gonna get this up to 10 likes, man.
In
10
the
likes.
past.
Go.
Look at this list right here. O.J. Simpson trial. Remember that Scott Peterson trial, Tiger Woods scandal, Bill Cosby scandal, Anthony Weiner, former representative out of New York. Remember that? All of that stuff happened. That's who she's represented. Already represented Amber Fry, the girlfriend of Scott Peterson, who was convicted of killing his wife and unborn son. And most notably, she represented more than half of the 50-plus women who've accused Bill Cosby of rape and molestation. As for Sean P. Diddy Combs, he's pleaded not guilty to charges that he led a criminal enterprise that abused women. Look, I've already been in the mindset that the brother's in trouble. Deep, deep trouble, as in never seeing the light of day as a free man again. It's really, really that serious. I don't think it's an exaggeration. That's number one. Number two, everybody's sitting up there talking about Gloria Allred right now involved in the incident because there's money to be made. Okay, and the reality is that if you've got a situation where you've got tape, you've got audio, etc., against this man, it's something that could come back to haunt you. We can't ignore that reality, all right? Then you've got to take into account the fact that him being in a federal prison, him being in jail right now, being held without bond, wasn't allowed bail, even though he's got one more appeal available to him, the chances of him pulling that off are slim to none. Okay, now you've got Hollywood up in arms and incredibly nervous. Why? Because everybody's wondering whether or not their name is going to get mentioned. And for that, my condolences kick in. And here's the reason why. You could have gone to a Diddy party, but there's a Diddy party and there was a Diddy after party. And
These are facts, yo. These are MFing facts. My thing is, again, none of this has went to trial. Any of the accusations have went to trial. Any of the civil cases have went to trial. Any of this has been in front of a judge or jury. All of these things are accusations. Accusations. I'm not here to defend Diddy. I'm not. But I'm not here for the money grabs, for the cash grabs either. There is a Diddy party and then the after party. And I personally believe a lot of these people consented to the party and the after party. But there were some who, rightfully so, did not consent or agree to actions in the after party or things leading after the after party. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that Diddy did abuse and use his power, you know what I mean, coerce, blackmail some people. And that's why I believe he's going to jail for a long time. But I believe there was a lot of consent as well here, more than there was non-consent. Anyways, man, I believe this. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't believe her. The lady who put in the 12th lawsuit, civil lawsuit, I say that I smell money grab, y'all. I smell money grab.
after party is where these quote unquote freak offs were taking place. What if you never went to them? What if you just went to the party?
That's what I'm saying. I say most people went to the party. I thought I'm saying the freak off was the
And then
minority.
you left at a reasonable hour like most people do. And you went home and went about your business and did your own thing. But while you were at the party, you took a picture. While you were at the party, you were drinking, you were hanging out, you were socializing, fraternizing, having a good time. Based on how so many people are acting, you never know what level of incrimination could come associated with you. And here's where it gets interesting. We're talking about Hollywood. So the image is what it's all about, not just the reality. If the image is of you taking pictures and partying and having...
By the way, y'all, get in the chat. Do y'all think that the freak off was consensual or not? Do y'all think that they was down for the freak
a
off or
good
not?
time, you got a drink in your hand
Get in the chat. Let me know.
and a cigar in your mouth or whatever
Man, we only have 5 likes, man. I need us to push that. Push the line with it.
the
Let's go to
case may
10.
be. But you did absolutely nothing wrong. Optics matter in Hollywood more so than most places.
Yes.
So I can understand why so many people are nervous. They ain't necessarily nervous because they're guilty. They're nervous because of the association.
The reputation point, man.
And what it potentially implies and how it can be used to compromise their earning potential. That's the world that exists in Hollywood.
Thank you. Stephen A spoke the facts because he's in that world, man. People are not scared of anything legal or illegal. That's not the issue here. What they're scared of is their reputation taking a hit being associated with Diddy. That's what they're scared of. They're scared of their alliances with Diddy messing them up in the future. They're not afraid of illegal or legal matters, which is the most effed up out of this. They don't care about legal or illegal, which is super effed up. They're afraid of these things messing up their careers. What am I talking about? Usher deleted almost all of his Twitter posts. Pink deleted almost all her Twitter posts. A lot of these people who were at the freak offs are getting lawyers. CEOs of music companies are resigning. Kevin Lyles. What am I talking about? They're afraid of their reputation taking a hit more than any illegal activities. Get in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. Let's get the likes up to 10. Let's go.
And that's what makes this so unfortunate. Having said that, nothing, absolutely nothing pertaining to those folks in terms of optics comes anywhere near close to the kind of danger Diddy is in.
Optics. That was the word I was looking for. Shout out to Stephen A for saying it's all about optics. Let's go.
Joining me now to discuss the latest on a federal case against Sean P. Diddy Combs is Ellie Honig, a former prosecutor for the Southern District of New York, where Diddy will be tried. He's also a senior legal analyst for CNN who provides commentary on criminal justice and national security. Ellie, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to join the show, man. Thank you so much. How you doing?
Glad to be here with you, Stephen. I go way back, man. I'm a South Jersey kid. I'm from Cherry Hill. I remember reading you in the Inquirer way back, so it's great to be with you.
Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Let's get right to it. Talia Graves is the 11th accuser. Count that, 11th accuser, but the first to come public against P. Diddy. How damaging is this case? Is this for his case, actually?
This is bad news for Sean Combs. Any way you look at this, Stephen. Look, I'm going to let you in on a little prosecutor's secret. We all read the media, and there's...
This is what's happening, right? Shout out to this individual who is a former prosecutor at the exact office that is going after Diddy. A lot of this trial is by media. And like we said in the Menendez case, it's all about story making. See, when you go to the law and legal battles, it's about what you can prove more than what's the truth and not. Right? Again, O.J. Simpson, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. That's a narrative. They created a narrative. You know what I mean? I don't know if OJ actually committed them murders, but does it matter? Not really. It matters what you can prove within a court of law. That's how the justice system works in the United States and Canada as well, or most Western
Two
countries.
reasons for that. One of them is prosecutors are vain. We want to know what's being said about us. Are we getting good press or bad press? But the other reason is we want to see what's going on out there. You get leads, you get evidence for your cases from civil suits that are filed.
Basically, trial by media is a real thing, man. The trial by media is not cap. It's a real thing. Get in the chat.
From media reporting. And I guarantee you, if prosecutors have not already spoken with Ms. Graves, they are going to be speaking with her now, because what they're trying to do in this case is put together an overwhelming body of evidence. And to do that, you need as many victims as you can get. This is why when the U.S. attorney announced the case last week, he said, if you believe you may be a victim in this case or a witness, get in touch with us. I've done human trafficking, sex trafficking cases like this, Stephen, and it is not at all uncommon in the days and weeks after you unveil an indictment like this. You will find more people will come forward. They're trying to bolster their case, and this could help them there.
I was going to ask the question.
Yeah, exactly. So, in general, this entire case hinges on how many victims or people have been victimized by Diddy. So, the Diddy downfall, as I say, is ongoing. The public perception and the PR aspect is over, meaning the public has already decided that Diddy's guilty, right? And that's huge. That's huge because that's going to help the prosecution in the jury trial, bro. The jury trial, it's going to help them because the jury pool is already contaminated now. I'm getting a lot of the bursts, my bad. The question is, right? Did Diddy do it? Right? We don't know. It looks like he did it, though. It looks really, really bad. And with Gloria Allred coming in this, she actually helps the prosecution, meaning that Diddy has a higher chance of spending his entire life in jail because she's attached to it. She is a legendary attorney, bruh. Legendary lawyer. Now, I do feel some type of a way that a lot of her people she's won against are black men, high profile black men. But irregardless, what she's trying to do as an attorney, as a lawyer, is to get as much money for her clients. And obviously make money for herself. Is there anything wrong with that? That's capitalism. I don't have an issue with that. My issue is that it's just convenient that they're most of the time black men. It is what it is. You can feel how you feel about that. Irregardless of that, Stephen A. Smith with the attorney here, I forgot his name, but he breaks it down perfectly because he's laying the foundation of what's going to happen to P. Diddy, Puffy, within the Southern District of New York law office, right? Federal law office. Get my likes up, man. We got to get the likes up, man. Get the likes up. You better smash that like button, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Smash that like button, man. Support your boy. Get the likes up for your boy, man. Get the likes up for your boy, man. Get the likes up. Likes up. Get the likes up, man. Let's do that. Appreciate y'all.
And what kind of impact does former girlfriend Cassie Ventura's lawsuit?
And by the way, man, get in the chat. Talk to your boy, man. I want to hear from y'all. We can't have Violet and Daniel be the only ones chatting. Let me hear and Sleepy Euphoria chatting. Talk to your boy.
Have on a federal case, but based on what you just articulated, I'm imagining that contributes to the prosecutor's case against Sean P. Diddy Combs, correct?
Oh, for sure. It's pretty clear if you look at the indictment of Sean Combs that the Cassie Ventura allegations are front and center. It looks like at least one of the counts is based entirely on her allegations that she made in the lawsuit. We've all seen the video of Sean Combs viciously attacking her in that hotel hallway.
Again, fair use. I don't own this piece of content. It belongs to Stephen A. Smith show. Let's go.
She is going to be a key victim. A real important question, though, is Are there other victims? And if so, how many are there? Now, Sean Combs' defense lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, appeared on CNN last week with Caitlin Collins. I was on right after. And Agnifilo, Sean Combs' lawyer, said, well, the government, the prosecutors say they have 50 victims and witnesses, but I think that's one victim, Cassidy, and 49 witnesses. Now, I said on air to Caitlin, I think that's wrong. You wouldn't say that as a prosecutor. You wouldn't say you have 50 if it was 1 and 49. But it is crucial that prosecutors identify more victims. And if
So to give y'all a bit more context, this is Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo. All right, he's right here. Mark Agnifilo was actually defending Keith Raniere and the Nexium cult finder. If y'all don't know who Keith Raniere is, I'll show you who he is. Like the stream if y'all popping in. So this is Keith Raniere. He was he was the leader of a cult called Nexium. Right? So Nexium was a sex cult, or a cult that was based on self-improvement and all this Hollywood new age type of BS, right? And he had created a situation where he had multiple wives and girlfriends who were branded, and they were doing all kinds of new age occultish ish. And yes, he looks like a whole dweeb, weirdo loser, but he was able to entice and get multiple women in a sex cult. Right? Ultimately, his lawyer in the case was Mike Agnifilo. Sorry, Mark Agnifilo, right? They lost the trial. Keith Raniere is now in jail pretty much for life. Like he got like 30 or 40 years, something crazy to life. Irregardless of this, he had put up a pretty good defense of him, and that's why I think Diddy hired this Mark Agnifilo person, right? Now, his first defense of Diddy was that the whole accusation of the whole trial against Diddy was based off the testimony of Cassie, right? If y'all don't know who Cassie is, Cassie Ventura dated Diddy for 10 plus years, former R&B singer. She's the one who sparked this off with her lawsuit against Puff. So this is where we are in the trial. Let's go.
these new allegations can lead them to a second or third or fourth victim, then that's what prosecutors are in the business of doing. You build your case, you try to give the jury such a massive evidence that they have no choice but to find them guilty.
Ellie, help me out here. One of the things that I've been mentioning is a guy that was born.
So what we're getting here again is that this whole trial hinges on Cassie. It hinges on the victim or victims. So when Gloria Allred brought in this new victim, it helps the feds because the whole trial hinges on Cassie, bro. Cassie is the key. Get the likes up, man. Smash that like button if you just pulled up. It all hinges on Cassie. She is the most important person here because she's going to go on the witness stand when this goes on trial in about a year, and it's going to be her testimony versus Diddy's.
In
Let's
the
go.
Bronx, raised in the streets of Hollis, Queens, New York City. I mean, you hear about somebody getting arrested. You hear about them getting indicted. You see local police. You see prosecutors, and that's that. To me, what stands out in my mind in this case, the raid on his home by Homeland Security, the arrest, etc. The fact that Homeland Security is the one that has come for Diddy. Could you explain whether there's any significance to that at all? And if there is, specify why it's so significant that this is Homeland Security that we're talking about, where they came after him with these federal charges.
Yeah, it's a great question. So when people think of federal law enforcement agents, they think first and often only of the FBI. But what people may not realize is there are dozens of federal law enforcement agencies out there, and a big one is Homeland Security. I know from my own experience, Homeland Security specializes in human trafficking and sex trafficking cases at the federal level. FBI does it too. But when I did my biggest sex trafficking case involved 30 defendants and we had 70 some victims, back a decade and a half ago, the federal agents on that case were Homeland Security. So it doesn't mean there's some immigration issue happening, because people often associate that with Homeland Security. They just happen to be one of the federal agencies that specializes in this kind of case. And, you know, the search warrant is crucial. I mean, they had to go to a judge, prosecutors and agents, and show we have probable cause that a crime was committed and that we're going to find evidence in whatever we seize, the phones. We know they found guns, dismantled guns, high caliber guns. That kind of stuff has made its way into the case. And it's one of the big reasons that Sean Combs is behind bars right now, because prosecutors said, look what we found when we went into his place. All these firearms, these ammunition. I think they recovered at various times certain drugs, narcotics. And the phones now are just a jackpot of evidence. I mean, you get so much off of phones now, too.
What exactly did they find in his home? You talked about guns, you talked about drugs. What else? I remember they talked about surveillance tapes, phones, emails, etc. Could you crystallize for my audience, just to as specific as you can get, what they actually found in his homes in Los Angeles and Miami when they raided it?
Yeah, so there were firearms. There were various firearms. Some of them had the serial numbers obliterated, meaning scratched off, which you see quite often. That makes it a federal crime right there. I believe they found drugs. I'm not quite sure if I remember that right. Look, they found phones and laptops all over the place. When I was starting as a prosecutor 20 years ago, you had to pull information. You had to go get the person's emails. You had to maybe get the physical paper documents. Now, you know how much information is on a phone? Everything is on a phone. It's the best possible information you can get. And then I guess I would say in a separate category, there was all sorts of sex paraphernalia, sex.
That's the key, y'all. If y'all are just tuning in, fair use, fair use. I don't own this piece of content. This belongs to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith's show. They're definitely gonna hit me up with a copyright strike or copyright claim. It is what it is. Long story short, this full stream will be available on Patreon. I will put the page in the chat if you guys want to support me or watch this full stream. Is going to be on Patreon, like I say. The point of what I'm talking about here, only $5 a month for the Patreon. Here it is. It's available for y'all. Patreon, only $5 a month. I'm gonna put this full stream over there without any interruptions, any copyright strikes, because YouTube is definitely gonna copyright claim or strike this video, the stream. What am I talking about? I'm saying that this entire case hinges on Cassie and what she says in the trial. Again, that's the key here. It's not about the truth or not. Is Diddy a freaky ass nigga? Yes. Is he an abuser? Most likely. Is he somebody who did bad things to a lot of people? Absolutely. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. But in order for him to spend the rest of his life in jail, the prosecutors have to attack him the right way. And I think that the prosecutors are a little bit loose with what they're doing. Can they be better? Yes, they can. But Diddy has been known as a freak, man. Has been known as an abuser, bro. Has done a lot of bad things, and he does deserve to spend time in jail. Now, here's what it is. It's not about what people deserve, it's what people can prove. And in the US justice system, when you have a lot of money, you get away with a lot more ish. And these are just facts. Let's hear what the prosecutor has to say.
Toys, the indictment talks about 1,000 bottles of baby serial numbers obliterated, meaning scratched off, which you see quite often. That makes it Sean Combs is behind bars.
Again, bro, is talking about the guns. with scratched off serial numbers, illegal guns, ghost guns. This is not necessarily it's a federal illegal crime, so he could go down for the guns. He could go down for the drugs because they found drugs in the shit. Their main thing is they want to get Diddy on the sexual trafficking um case, or at least the allegation, because those other two federal trials are not as strong. So,
Bars right now because prosecutors said, look what we found when we went into his place. All these
by the way, peep my Patreon, man. Rock with your boy.
firearms, these ammunition. I think they recovered at various times certain drugs, narcotics, and the phones now are just a jackpot of evidence. I mean, you get so much off of phones now too.
What exactly did they find in this home? You talked about guns, you talked about drugs. What else? I remember they talked about surveillance tapes, phones, emails, etc. Could you crystallize for my audience, just to as specific as you can get, what they actually found in his homes in Los Angeles and Miami when they raided it?
Yeah, so there were firearms. There were various firearms. Some of them had the serial numbers obliterated, meaning scratched off, which you see quite often. That makes it a federal crime right there. I believe they found drugs. I'm not quite sure if I remember that right. Look, they found phones and laptops all over the place. When I was starting as a prosecutor 20 years ago, you had to pull information. You had to go get the person's emails. You had to maybe get the physical paper documents. Now, you know how much information is on a phone? Everything is on a phone. It's the best possible information you can get. And then I guess I would say in a separate category, there was all sorts of sex paraphernalia, sex toys. The indictment talks about 1,000 bottles of.
It's the baby oil. They talking about the baby oil, man. Bruh, this stream is not staying up. It is what it is. It's going on Patreon after this. Y'all rock with your boy. Do you have baby oil in your crib? Let's go, man.
Baby oil.
This is a question for the chat. Do y'all have baby oil in your crib?
And lube. Now, look, having, over the top sex parties, they call them freak offs in the indictment. That's not a crime. Nothing illegal about that. But the gist of the allegations is they would force women into these. They would threaten women afterwards. The allegations that you're talking about that just came out, the woman says she was drugged and tied up and then raped. So it all is relevant. And there was, look, that's a lot of evidence to find in any search warrant.
P. Diddy and his team, I saw the lawyers on.
By the way, we got people in here, man. Why aren't y'all getting your boy on the likes? Get on the likes, man. Get the likes up. And if you're listening on audio only, get your boy to 5 stars, please. Thank you. Please and thank you. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Let's go.
On television, I think I saw one of them on Chris Cuomo's show on News Nation.
Again, fair use, fair use. This full stream will be available on my Patreon after the show. Okay, let's go.
They were talking about, at least a couple of lawyers were talking about how the argument to be made in favor of P. Diddy, whereas you might find his behavior reprehensible or something, there was nothing illegal, giving the impression that it was adult consent going on. How plausible is that argument, considering the fact that Homeland Security and the feds essentially are making this case against him?
Great points by Stephen A. Smith here. That is the main argument by Mark Agnifio, right? Mark Agnifio is the lawyer for Sean P. Diddy Combs. And Mark is getting a whole bag. He's getting a lot of money. Excuse me. His argument, Mark's arguments here is that all of this was consensual. None of this was illegal. People were there for the freak off because they wanted to be. Can he prove that? Can he prove that? That's the question. Can he prove it? We gonna see. We gonna see. That's the question.
Well, that's definitely going to be the defense, Stephen. As you said, you can see it from the lawyers who are out there. What they're going to argue is, look, he's a sex.
Get in the chat. Can Diddy's lawyer prove that all the freak offs were consensual. Right? Can he prove that they were consensual? So that is the burden of proof again is on the prosecution, right? So the prosecution has to be really, really good in order for them to get Diddy for 30 years, right? It's on them. It's not on Mark. Mark has to bring reasonable doubt. His job is to bring in reasonable doubt, right? And who has to prove that the freak offs were non-consensual, were coercive, were exploitative, were criminal? That's the prosecution. That's for the feds to prove. Now, the feds, they're going to go to everybody who's rocking with Diddy and say, y'all want to snitch on him? Y'all want to talk about him? Hey, if you talk about him, nothing's going to come your way. We're talking about the Diddy, the Beyonce, the Meek Mills, all these people. Do y'all want to snitch or talk about Puff Daddy? Well, come put a statement, come to the stand, and prove it. The burden of proof again is on the feds. What uh Mark A, I'm gonna call him Mark A, has to prove is that there's some kind of doubt. He doesn't have to prove this is consensual. He has to prove that most of the people who was pulling up to the freak off was about the freak off. There wasn't about anything other than the freak off. There was sexual deviants, sexual savages such as Diddy. It is what it is. Go.
But that's not a crime. The other thing they're going to argue, and we've already heard this from Mark Agnelli.
It's not a crime to have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Am I gonna do it? F no. Am I gonna have freak offs? I'm not. Most people are not. It is what it is. But it's not illegal to be a freaky ass nigga. It is what it is.
By the way, very good defense lawyer. I mean, Sean Combs has a top shelf guy here. He's going to argue, I think, that a lot of this stuff that's been charged is not a federal crime. It's really just an assault, a domestic violence assault. That's typically, that's not a federal crime. The way it becomes federal here is because we have a RICO racketeering charge. So they're going to argue this is not federal criminal activity. This is a state crime. And they're going to argue a lot of this stuff would have been too old to charge federally. But again, the RICO laws, which I used to use all the time, Stephen, I used to charge organized crime mafia families. They give prosecutors a massive advantage because you can charge things that would be state crimes. You can charge things that are too old. But I do think that's going to be the exact appeal the jury's going to hear. Who knows when the trial is, a year from now, give or take. I think they're going to say, look, folks, he had these, maybe you think they're unusual or unappealing sexual appetites, but that doesn't make him a criminal. That's what you're going to hear.
Names like Jeffrey Epstein, R. Kelly. I even heard somebody last week bring up Bill Cosby, for crying out loud. I mean, all of these names have been brought up. Yeah. All three ended up in jail. In the case of Jeffrey Epstein, supposedly there was a suicide that took place while he was incarcerated. Considering the fact that jail time was the end result for individuals like that, does that make it more probable that there will be jail time for P. Diddy?
Well, I think there's also a warning within those names you gave me. Bill Cosby.
No, there's no guarantee that there's going to be jail time. The difference between Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Weinstein might be a difference. Weinstein is the biggest difference here. But the biggest difference here is that R. Kelly and Bill Cosby did not have the type of money that Diddy had and did not have the type of leverage that Diddy has in this situation. And you could even add Weinstein in this situation. Diddy has multiple tape recordings of people in power and influence from politics, right? Music, evidently, actors, Hollywood, obviously. Everybody went to a Diddy party. right? So he has the leverage, meaning the tapes and the videos of the freak offs or whatever type of extortion attempt he has on these people. The feds have it. The feds, I'm talking about the government has it. But I personally believe that Diddy has it, and also Diddy has the memory to use these against them. So what am I talking about? I'm saying that Diddy has a lot of leverage against these people. That's my point here.
Right now is a free man.
Right.
Because prosecutors overreached in the way they prosecuted this case. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court actually threw out his conviction. He did 3 or 4 years behind bars.
So
Harvey
let me go
Weinstein
back.
also,
Let's
look,
go back. He's talking about Bill Cosby. Let's go.
While he was incarcerated.
By the way, again, I'm not here to defend Diddy. I think Diddy is guilty of some of these crimes. Not all of them, but some of them. And if he's even guilty of one of these charges, he needs to spend 15 to 20 years in jail. I think Diddy's going to spend at least 10 years in jail. That's my prediction. Get in the chat if you believe otherwise. I think that Diddy's going to spend at least 10 years in jail. Minimum. But I think that a lot of these things that are coming after him are uneven because I believe some of these things were consensual and then there was a retroactive pushback. What am I talking about? Shorty coming to the freak off, but then over time she changed her mind to get bags after. It is what it is. Obviously, I believe that Diddy pushed the line on some of them too. He pushed the line on even one of them. He deserves to be in the bin. It is what it is.
Considering the fact that jail time was the end result for individuals like that, does that make it more probable that there will be jail time for P. Diddy?
Well, I think there's also a warning within those names you gave me. Bill Cosby right now is a free man.
Right.
Because prosecutors overreached in the way they prosecuted this case. The Pennsylvania.
Now, this is major. Prosecutorial overreach or prosecutors overreaching. Let me show you an example of something. There was an individual, right? Do y'all remember this guy called Irv Gotti? I'm gonna put it up here in the chat. Do y'all remember Irv Gotti? I'm gonna play a little clip by Irv Gotti, man. Irv Gotti was also charged by the feds. By the way, y'all like the stream, like the video, man. Rock with your boy. Let's go. Y'all like the stream, rock with your boy.
So then,
by the way, fair use. I do not own this piece of content. Get your boy to 10 likes. That's the goal. We're only at 5. I need all of us to reach 10 likes. If you are watching this stream right now, smash that like button, man. Help your boy grow. I am a small channel. I'm a young channel. I'm trying to come up, and I appreciate each and every person who's spending this Friday night with me. I'm sacrificing a lot, man, and I'm doing this because I rock with y'all. Because I'm doing my best out here. The least I ask y'all to do. I'm not even asking for no super chats. I'm not gonna be begging. I'm not doing that. That's not my style. You know what I mean? Again, shout out to my boy, you know what I mean, Sleepy Euphoria. That's my dog for life, who's willing to even give me whatever. You know what I mean? Shout out to 699 Canadian, man. That's a real one. I'm not asking that from y'all, man. All I ask for y'all is just to smash that like button, man. Get your boy to 10 likes on this stream, and I'd appreciate that more than just get your boy to 10. That's all I'm asking, man. I'm not asking for much. Smash that like button, man. Let's hear what Irv Gotti got to say about facing the feds. Again, this is perfect perspective because Diddy is facing the feds, right? Why was Irv Gotti facing the feds? Irv Gotti was facing the feds on drug and gun cases. Diddy is facing the feds on freak off and RICO and sexual trafficking cases. Is there a hierarchy? Yes, absolutely, because murder and drug dealing is looked at more seriously than sexual assault and abuse, right? Drug dealing and murder, literally unaliving people. So what am I trying to say here? Very simple. Obviously get the likes up, but what I'm trying to say here is Irv Gotti, in perspective, had a more serious Fed case, and he beat it. Let's see what he says.
The feds come in
right,
and start raiding Murder Inc. offices, which are in the Def Jam
Fair use. I don't own this content. It belongs to bitch ass Vlad. Let's go.
section.
yeah, and
Sorry, I didn't mean to say B.A. Vlad. I mean to say just Vlad.
the Worldwide Plaza.
In the
It's
Worldwide
a
Plaza.
historic building.
Yeah.
I got the feds running up in there.
And I remember that building. You guys actually shared the office space with Microsoft.
Ogilvy and Mathers, Microsoft, $1 billion. The
Right.
building, Worldwide Plaza, was it's I think it's a landmark for New York City.
Of course.
Because at the top it peaks, it goes into it's like one of those type of historic buildings, and I had the feds running up in there.
You have the feds running up in there, and the feds have a conviction rate of 95%, something like that. Higher.
But I tell you,
regardless of what you believe, Irv is a legend, man. He's a hip hop legend. He was a part of the early 2000s hip hop and R&B scene to a level that a lot of people do not understand, nor do they respect. So, to a certain level, he was a mini Puff. He was a mini Diddy. Because Diddy himself ran the 90s, early 2000s, and mid 2000s. This dude ran the game. And the feds went after him. What happened? Get in the chat. Man, if y'all fans of Ashanti, get in the chat. By the way, shout out to my boy Daniel, man. He coming in. He really in the chat right now. Shout out to him. 5 out of 10, I could see that, or maybe he might avoid jail time. I believe Daniel's talking about something I was saying earlier about Puff, man. You know what I mean? So Daniel comes in again. Shout out Daniel, man. I gotta give it to him for introducing Ashanti Ja Rule. Of course. Ashanti Ja Rule, DMX. You know what I mean? Dude was running the game. He was running the game back then, man. And we can't take that away from him. By the way, man, I'm only seeing 5 likes, man. You got 9 people in the joint. I'm only seeing 5 likes. Get the likes up, man. I want to see this up to 10 likes, man. Let's get up to 9 likes, y'all. Anyways, man, let's have Irv talk about it, man. Let's go. Irv.
why? Because everyone takes the plea.
Right. I mean, you see what's happening with Tekashi these days. No one's taking this shit to trial. Everyone's pleading out. Tekashi's telling on everyone. The feds don't even have to do nothing. They come in and win all of this.
Yeah.
When
There's only a few choice of us that tell the feds suck my dick.
Well, Chris Gotti,
you gotta have the balls. Listen, you don't think we hear all of that? The feds have a 99% conviction rate, and we sitting there, our lawyers, they offered us like 6 months of some sweet shit. 6 months. We was facing 20 years.
Well, I heard they offered you, I mean, because I talked to Chris about this. He said they offered you guys probation to just accept the guilty plea.
Again, how the feds get their 90 or whatever plus conviction rate is because a lot of people plead out, meaning they're not going to trial against the Federal Bureau of Investigations because the feds have more money, resources, and have a stronger investigation unit. So Diddy, in this case, is fighting the feds. The fact that he's fighting the feds is bold instead of pleading out. Now, if he pled out, he'd probably be in jail for 5 to 7 years, maybe 10. But if he loses the trial, he's in jail for the rest of his life. He wins the trial, obviously he gets the hell out. Irv Gotti beat the trial against the feds. This is why I'm talking about it. This is why it's significant. Let's go.
Really, what they wanted was a story, and they wanted a story on Supreme. That's it. If we would gave a story, we did anything. They went down to as low as no jail time, just a conviction.
A conviction with no jail time? I never even heard of this.
Yeah, they was gonna give us probation.
Oh, probation. Okay, yeah, I've heard of
And give us probation. But we had to tell on Supreme about, and we like, what are we telling? And they swore that we have some stories to tell. And I'm like, there's no stories to tell.
Nah, they offered us for the guilty plea. They offered us.
So some further context in here is that Murder Inc., the record company that Irv Gotti and Chris Gotti was a part of, these are brothers, was allegedly sponsored by Supreme. Supreme was a New York City Queens drug dealer who had a lot of beef with 50 Cent, but in general, the feds wanted Supreme. That's what they wanted. And they attacked, or at least went after Murder Inc., so Chris and Irv Gotti would give up Supreme or Preem. That's the background of the story. How does this relate to Diddy and the Diddy trial? Very simple. The feds want Diddy in jail. They want him in jail. They want to crush him. They want him out of the paint. Okay. They want him out of the paint. Fair play. He's a freakazoid. He's a whole weirdo. It's fine. Get him out the paint. Okay. Get him out. It's completely fine. They want him out of the paint, so they are working night and day to get witnesses to go against P. Diddy so that they can get him in jail. So what the feds have already won is the PR war, public relations war. And if y'all are already here, you better give your boy some likes, man. Get the likes up. Man, stop playing, man. Shout out to the 12 people in the chat. Get the likes up, y'all. Get the likes up, y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all doing your thing. Get the likes up, y'all. Get the likes up. Stop playing with your boy. Get the likes up, y'all. Irregardless of this, they want Diddy. They want Diddy bad. And that's why they're hinging on Cassie. Irregardless of this, Irv Gotti went through the same thing. Irv Gotti was a mini Diddy. Let's go, bro.
Where each one of us could do like 6 months. Chris could stay and run the company. Then he goes in and does 6 months.
Okay, so 6 months.
It was
basically nothing.
Yeah.
But you turn it down.
To my lawyers, to which our lawyers said, we can't guarantee victory. So our lawyers, who we had great lawyers, Shargell and Lefcourt, if I don't want you to get in trouble, but if you do call them, they're fucking great, right? You don't want to use them, but if you do have to use them, they're brilliant. So our brilliant lawyers was like,
take it.
They didn't say take it, but they was like, wouldn't have been mad if we would have said, fuck it, we'll take it.
Well, you guys spent $10 million defending yourselves.
It was a lot because I paid for everyone's lawyer.
Right.
So they and it was other little shit. Like my accountant, Cynthia Brent, you know, they was putting her under pressures.
So again, why do the feds have a 98% conviction rate? Very simple. The defendants of the feds, meaning, like Irv Gotti just said, the people who are defending the alleged criminals, they are telling them to plead out and settle out. They're not recommending them to fight it, right? And fighting it is a very hit and miss tactic because it could mean the end of them. So I'm gonna run it back slightly and then we're gonna see what they say, man. We're gonna hear what Irv says because this is facts, and I think it's definitely correlated to the Diddy trial. Why is it correlated to the Diddy trial? Because Diddy's gonna go through the exact same ish. Diddy is going through the exact same ish that Irv Gotti and them went through 10+ years ago. It is what it is.
They're fucking great, right? Stay and run the company. Then he goes in and does 6 months.
Okay, so 6 months.
It was
basically
bullshit.
nothing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you turn it down.
To my lawyers, to which our lawyers said, we can't guarantee victory. So our lawyers, who we had great lawyers,
and they swore that we have some stories to tell. And I'm like,
so I'm running it back a little bit and then I'll play it through.
There's no stories to tell.
Nah, they offered us for the guilty plea. They offered us where each one of us could do like 6 months. Chris could stay and run the company. Then he goes in and does 6 months.
Okay, so 6 months.
It was
basically nothing.
Yeah.
But you turn it down.
To which our lawyers said, we can't guarantee victory. So our lawyers, who we had great lawyers, Shargell and Lefcourt, if I don't want you to get in trouble, but if you do call them, they're fucking great, right? You don't want to use them, but if you do have to use them, they're brilliant. So our brilliant lawyers was like,
take it.
They didn't say take it, but they was like, wouldn't have been mad if we would have said, fuck it, we'll take it.
Well, you guys spent $10 million defending yourselves.
It was a lot because I paid for everyone's lawyer.
Right.
So they and there was other little shit like my accountant Cynthia Brent, you know, they was putting her under pressure, so we paid for her lawyer. I think Ron.
Man, y'all better get the likes up, man. I better see the likes blinging, man. Smash that like button. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Let's go. And I want y'all to talk in the chat, man. Let's not make this boring, man. It's Friday night, man. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk, y'all.
Like there's a lot of people that you don't even know of that y'all don't hear of that I paid for their legal fees.
And you guys win. You guys take it to trial and you beat the jury trial. And even
listen, if you was at the trial, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was so bullshit. One of the highlights of the trial was this. These fucking the Carolyn Picorni, she was the prosecuting attorney. She's taking 2 hours going over these text messages, right? So she's talking about a conversation that I'm having with someone who she believes is supreme. Now get this, Vlad. 2 hours. And I'm saying that I love you and I'm always be there for you to the end and saying things of that nature. And she's like, I'm talking to Supreme. So like 10 minutes into the thing, I go to Shargell and Lefcourt. I'm like, yo, I'm speaking to my wife. That's Debbie. They said, what? I said, yo, I'm talking to Deb. That's me and Deb talking. Me saying that I love you and I'll be with you and I'll be with you till I die.
Again, this further proves what I've always been thinking. The feds, of course, are tough. The feds, of course, are well researched. The feds, of course, are going to do their best analysis. But I don't think the feds are infallible. I don't think the feds are as great as they make it seem, man. My point is, Diddy could beat this case irregardless if he's guilty or not. My theory is that Diddy's going to do 10 years in jail. That's my theory. But then my side theory is that Diddy could do no years in jail and he could get freed for the simple fact that the feds, they have a reputation because people quit. And at least my perception of this is that Diddy is not quitting. Diddy is trying to fight. Now, what you got from Irv Gotti is Irv Gotti fought and spent $10 million of his own money to beat the feds. Let's go.
And all of these things, that's not Supreme. So they didn't know. My lawyers, they sitting back and they let them go on for like 2 hours. When they was finished, Shargell, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we just want to know all of the things you heard. He was speaking to his lovely wife who's sitting right there in the first row. He wasn't talking to Kenneth Supreme and Griff. He was speaking to Debbie Lorenzo. The judge, who was a fucking prick, okay? And I say that crystal clear because the judge was a racist prick who thought we was guilty and said in the court, not with the jury there though. That's the one thing I'll give him. Come on, you know these guys did something. I was like, what?
Oh shit. Look at that nigga face, man. Look at his nigga face.
What? What the fuck? So he was a fucking piece of shit. George Corman, if you get in his fucking court, if you're black, yo, you better fucking have a great lawyer. And it just so happens he
Fair use, fair use, fair use. Yeah, them judges be racist. Let's go.
liked Shargell. But when he fucking Shargell said that, Judge Corman, he got up out of his seat, looked at the prosecuting attorney, and start saying, "You fucking idiots." He didn't curse. I'm exaggerating, but he was angry.
Yeah.
You got us in court doing, and you don't even know what these text messages saying or who he's talking to, and this is your case. He fucking killed them. Then he said something like, because Shargell teaches law. He says, you guys need to go to his class and learn the law. Like he killed them. Killed them. Killed them. And I was like, that's an ill kill because he doesn't like us. That racist piece of shit wants us to go to jail. He said in the courtroom, he said, you know they did it. Oh, what? We didn't do it, dog. What the fuck?
That's what I'm talking about here, y'all. This is what I'm talking about here, y'all. What I'm talking about is there's a chance. I'm not saying that Diddy is going to be innocent. I'm not saying none of that. I'm saying that whatever we hear from the feds could be misleading or not the full truth. I don't like the society we're in where we just presume everybody's guilty before they go to trial. We just listen to the indictment and we think that's the truth. It's called hive mind. That's called, you know what I mean? Just public lynchings. It's called public relations nightmares. I'm not saying that this motherfucker Diddy is an innocent wildflower. I'm saying that let's actually have this ish go to trial and let's see what happens. That's called the law. Why is that? We've seen a lot of people be called guilty when there wasn't. Anyways, man, let's finish the video, man.
The Supreme Court actually threw out his conviction. He did 3 or 4 years behind bars. Harvey Weinstein also.
So he's talking about here. He just talked about Cosby, who I think is actually an abuser, and Cosby should spend the rest of his life in jail. But irregardless of what I believe, the courts believe that the prosecutors messed up. I think Cosby spent the rest of his bitch ass life in jail. It is what it is.
Look, a sexual predator was convicted, and then one of his convictions was thrown out 6 months or so ago because prosecutors also misstepped there. So a lot of pressure on prosecutors here. But if we're looking at Sean Combs' case,
fair use, fair use. Let's go.
It's early. We don't have all the facts. We have a lot in the indictment, and there was other paperwork that was submitted. I'll just say this. It does not look good for Sean Combs, and I'll tell you why. One, you do not want to be prosecuted by the Southern District of New York. I say that as an alum of that office, but that office is famous for being aggressive and for winning its cases. Just recently, they convicted Sam Bankman-Fried. They convicted Senator Robert Menendez, even though he's the Jersey senator. That office has a long history of convicting high-profile cases. The other thing is the penalties he's looking at, Stephen, are through the roof. If he's convicted on the forcible sex trafficking of Cassie, he is looking at a 15-year mandatory minimum. And I know sometimes you hear, oh, so-and-so got sentenced to, let's say, 20 years in prison, but then 2.5 years later, they're released. That's in the state system. In the federal system, there's no parole. There's no early release. If you get sentenced to, let's say, 15 years in prison, the only reduction you can get is 15% off for good time in prison. So if Sean Combs gets convicted on that count, he has to do 15 years minus 15%. So let's say 13 years behind bars. He's 54 years old, and it could be more than that as well.
Wow. Former Death Row Records head Suge Knight.
That's what I'm saying. 54 years. You could get 50. He's 54 years old. He could get the rest of his life in jail if he's fighting this for real. This is a life and death thing.
Was on Cuomo on News Nation last night.
Again, fair use, fair use. I do not own this content. Get the likes up.
I want you to listen to these explosive claims.
Okay, but you had a guy named Tubby. He used to work for Interscope. This guy's job was to bring underage girls and have sex.
Do you think Diddy knows enough that it's a very delicate
balance that maybe investigators will want to know these other names and greatly reduce his exposure to criminality, to time, versus what people would do to keep him quiet?
Number one, I've been knowing him a long time, and we was friends. We're not enemies, but we were friends. He's not a dummy, so he's smart enough to work his magic. On top of that, this man right here, he been involved with the FBI most of his career. Shit, he got powerful people.
I don't expect you to comment on the veracity of those statements, because how?
Basically, what Suge was saying was Diddy was part of the feds. Y'all believe that Diddy was part of the feds? He was a fed. He's an agent. That's what Suge is saying. So if you're an agent, you have a certain level of protection. Well, duh. If Diddy was actually doing all these wild things for all these years and allowed to and not persecuted by the police, it leads you to think, okay, he was allowed to, meaning he was part of them agencies.
Could we possibly confirm that? However, hearing something like that, how does a prosecutor use that nugget of information to their advantage, Ellie? That's what I'm wondering about.
Let me tell you my thought process, and I just saw that for the first time. But if I'm back in the prosecutor's office, number one, there's no way in hell I'm calling Suge Knight as a witness at the trial. Can you imagine, right? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, believe this guy. Although I will say, I've called way worse people than Suge Knight as witness.
Suge Knight might actually be part of this. It is what it is. It's going to be entertaining to watch. Let's see.
As cooperators. But
my real question is, where's Daniel at? Daniel, get in the chat. Talk to the people, man. I want to get your thoughts. You think Suge going to be indicted or going to be part of this? I got to ask Violet. Violet, you still in here? Let me know what you think. And I'm going to call up. I'm going to call up my boy. I'm going to call up my boy Sleepy, man. Sleepy. Sleepy might be sleeping. What do you think? You think Suge going to be part of this? Let's go.
Like I said in the beginning, Stephen, you're always watching what's being said because you can always develop a lead off that. Maybe you can say, okay, who could Suge Knight be talking about here? Who are some of these people who would bring in girls? If you haven't already identified them, go find those people. Listen, I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm not even going to talk to Suge Knight. He's never going to be a witness for me, but I may give it a shot or send an FBI agent or Homeland Security agent out to say, who are you talking about? Do you want give us names here? Because we
Ely Holding, I think that's his name. He's doing a fantastic job. He's breaking it down perfectly.
want to find these people, but the thing.
Fair use. I don't own this piece of content. It belongs to Stephen A. Smith. Fair use coverage. Let's go. And if they're following the fair use coverage, this is going to be exclusively on my Patreon. So this is the Patreon link right here. I'm going to put this entire stream on Patreon, and it is what it is. YouTube plays these games, so I guess I gotta play these games too. It is what it is. You can fight the algorithm very simply by liking the stream. Liking the stream fights the algorithm. Best way to say. Let's go.
You're always doing as a prosecutor, Stephen, is prosecutors are obsessed with corroboration. You want to back up every witness you can, whether they're acquirable.
By the way, shout out to Heather pulling up in the chat. She says, if a parent can sexually abuse their child, the people that the child is supposed to trust with their life, I don't blame the child at all for growing up and taking the parents' side. Okay, so you're talking about the Eric Menendez thing. I think Heather might be a little bit later inside the stream. So let's finish this, and then we'll respond to Heather.
Boy or Suge Knight, you want to make sure that anything that gets set up on that stand is something you can back up with a document, with a piece of video, with another witness, that kind of thing. So I think that's what I would do with that clip.
When you bring up the Southern District of New York, you're an alum. You know how lethal this department department is. I mean, their reputation definitely precedes them, and I say that in a very positive way as somebody who wants criminals off the streets. It's the Southern District of New York. It is what it is. I ask you this question in all honesty: when we talk about them buffering their
Is Stephen A. Smith a conservative? He might be a conservative on the low skis. It is what it is. Come out the closet, bro. So we got Heather here again in the chat. I think sex abuse as a child is worse than unaliven because something has been taken from the child and they will never get back their innocence. It's lost, at least in unaliven, you aren't alive and inside. Okay, fair play, fair play. I'm not disagreeing with that.
One would get the impression.
Do the 9 people in here and only 6 likes? What's up with that? Y'all need to, yes, Heather. Y'all need to get hitting the like button. Man, yes. Actually, yes. Shouts out Heather. You know what I mean? Love you, girl. Shout out Heather, man. Love you, girl. Respect, man. Get the likes up, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna start that comment. So I will respond to Heather's comment regarding the sex abuse and all these things. Um, Personally, in my mind, I'm speaking for me. I'm always gonna look at an unaliven, whatever, a murder, whatever it is. Irregardless, I look at that way worse than abuse, sexual abuse. Um, but in general, I could understand what Heather's saying in these situations because what she's saying is that the abuse, right, is worse than the other situation because you've taken the innocence out of that child. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, what the Menendez trial did is it played the blurred lines of that and rationalized unaliving. I personally don't think it's right to unalive people, but I'm not here to be the judge of why people would unalive people. I talked about it earlier in this live stream and pod. Irregardless of that, I get it. I just personally don't agree with it to a certain point. Let's go.
The case obviously has to be prosecuted, but it's already been made in the court of public opinion. I know that doesn't ultimately convict you, but it does stand to influence jurors potentially. I'm wondering, why do you find yourself having to make the case when one would see you raiding the homes in Miami, in Los Angeles, and then ultimately this arrest took place months later? One would surmise you already got your case. It's Diddy that's got to defend himself because right now he looks guilty as hell.
So 2 things. First of all, you will, every time you see a prosecutor make an announcement from a podium, whether it's the Attorney General of the United States, the DA of whatever county, they will always say these words: our investigation is ongoing. And a lot of times, honestly, Stephen, it's just boilerplate. The investigation's basically done. But it's clear here, this one is ongoing. I mean, we've already seen reporting that there's new witnesses going in the grand jury, and good prosecutors know your investigation is not over until that jury comes back with a verdict. Now, from Sean Combs's perspective, it's important to keep in mind, again, another thing that gets said at every press conference, he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. A defendant never technically has to put on a defense. He doesn't have to say, no, folks in the jury, they've got it wrong. Here's what actually happened, right? A defendant can just play the burden of proof game and say, folks, they failed to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Therefore, you must find him not guilty. That said, as you noted, it's very different when you have such a high profile person.
That's what I've been saying. And the lawyer just laid it out better than I ever could. Their burden of proof for Mark Agrafilio over here is that to say, no, my dude didn't do that. He didn't do that ish. It's up to you to prove that he did that. I don't have to prove nothing. I didn't do that ish. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. Right? So yes, the court of public opinion might feel one way, but it's up to the Southern District of New York to prove without a shadow of a doubt that Sean P. Diddy Combs was the actual monster that he's been displayed. Now, my theory is that they will prove that, and Diddy will spend minimum 10 years in jail up to life in jail. But I also believe there's maybe a 10% chance that Diddy might get away scot free.
Like Sean Combs, he is clearly not taking the strategy. It's not like him to just say, I'm going to sit back and just sort of poke holes. He's on the affirmative. He's on the aggressive. That's why you've seen his lawyers on TV. But let me tell you, the stats aren't good for him. I mean, if you look at the historical data, 95+% of people in the federal system, defendants, plead guilty. And of those who go to trial in the Southern District of New York, easily 80+% end up getting convicted. It is really, really hard to roll the dice and beat the SDNY.
What are we to surmise from him being denied bail not once but twice?
Well, first of all, as a practical matter, it means he's going to be in. He's going to be behind bars until the trial happens, which, like I said before, you're looking at a year or so. He has one more shot. He's going to take it to the Court of Appeals, but that's 1 in 1,000 that he gets that. It makes it much harder to prepare your defense, right? Your lawyers have to wait in the line at the prison before they get in. You don't have access to the outside world. So it is a handicap when it comes to actually preparing your defense. And Stephen, I mean, the MDC, where Combs is being held now, the Metropolitan Detention Center over in Brooklyn.
Yep.
I've been there many times because one of the things you do as a prosecutor is you're talking to witnesses, people who might flip. I mean, in a secure area,
Yes.
I'm not going to walk into general population, that would get a guy killed.
Right.
But I've spent a lot of time in there. And let me tell you, I don't know if you've ever had the misfortune of going into a prison to visit somebody or something like that.
Once.
I've been to.
I mean, bruh, you're a prosecutor, man. You're responsible for putting a lot of these individuals inside that prison. Stupid. Of course, you don't want to show up in there. You're half the reason them niggas is in there, bro. Of course, you don't want to show up. F out of here. Long story short, what I'm trying to say is Diddy has a window. Diddy has a window not to stay in jail, not to actually be caught up on these crimes because there's something called hysteria, right? So, okay, I'm not going to compare these two, but I'm going to give a parallel. I'm going to give a parallel. I'm going to give a parallel. I'm going to give a parallel to something that's y'all are going to get pissed off at me. I don't care. I'm going to give a parallel to this. So, if y'all are watching the screen right now, this is called the Salem witch trials. We are in a generation, I believe, where the Salem witch trials are happening to a certain level. Now, I'm not here to say that men are innocent just off rip. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. There are horrible men out there who not only need to be persecuted, but they need to spend the rest of their life in jail. And I'll go as far as they need to be executed. I'm not even playing. That's like actually how I feel. But then there's men out there to a certain level, lower level, obviously, that are innocent and don't deserve to be executed or destroyed. And the destruction in these days and age is not a hanging. The destruction is reputation. The destruction is psychological. The destruction is public relations related. What am I talking about? I'll make it very simple. By the way, get the likes up. We need 10 likes in here, man. Y'all in this spot, we vibing, we having a good time. Let's get this thing to 10 likes. What I'm talking about is the Salem witch trials in Boston were based off hysteria, meaning people thought that if you're a single woman and you're older, you were automatically a witch. Hysteria. And this hysteria got so big that random older women who were unmarried or widows were burned to the stake. And you'd think, okay, this just only happened in, it's all good. This only happened in the 1800s. This didn't happen, you know what I mean, anywhere closer to the future. Okay. Okay, it didn't happen anyway to the future. There was a thing called McCarthyism. Y'all ever heard of McCarthyism? McCarthyism was based off Joseph McCarthy, who accused multiple people of being communists, whether they were actually communists or not. McCarthyism in the United States, led by Joseph McCarthy. So whoever he believed was a communist, they were jailed and put in a situation where they had to defend themselves. McCarthyism, right? Oh no, that doesn't happen, man. We're in 2024, man. We're in 2024. Nothing like that happens, man. Oh my God. Well, we're in 2024. There was a ton of racism towards Arabs, Arab Americans. People would think they were terrorists, right? Going on planes due to 9/11 and all these things. What am I talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about society could think they're advanced to a certain level, but we might not be. Let me tell you why. A very simple reasoning for this. There's a guy called Emmett Till. If y'all don't know who Emmett Till was an individual, a young black boy, who was dating or at least seeing a white woman as a teenager, and they thought that he had abused her sexually, the white woman, and they lynched him. They killed this young black boy based on a rumor and an allegation that he did that. Again, let me make this abundantly clear. I'm not putting parallels with Emmett Till and P. Diddy. I'm not doing that. What I am doing is giving y'all historical context that accusations could be wrong. Accusations could be wrong. We know what accusations are and what actual evidence in court is. I'm saying it if he's even a 5% or 10% chance or even 2% chance that Diddy is innocent or Diddy is misconstrued in the eyes of the US government. And keep in mind, the US government is messed up a lot. We need to factor that in.
You know, I don't know, more prisons than I can remember. That is probably the worst. It's the worst federal facility for sure that I've been in. I mean, it is overcrowded. It used to be.
And he's talking about MDC Brooklyn, man. Get the likes up, man. We need 10 likes, man. We have 9 people in there. We don't have 10 likes. I don't know what's going on, y'all. I'm gonna be right back in a few minutes, man. Let this run, man.
I was getting ready to ask you, what makes it so bad? When crystallized for my audience, this prison that he's in Brooklyn, New York, I've heard numerous folks say it's one of, if not the worst. Why is it so bad?
Okay, first of all, there used to be 2 prisons serving the New York area, one in Manhattan, one in Brooklyn. The one in Manhattan is now closed. So all those inmates, it is crazy overcrowded. Second of all, if you've been to prisons, a lot of them are on acres and acres of land, 40 acres, you know, whatever, 30 acres. This is in Brooklyn. I mean, it's basically like half a block. So it's incredibly cramped. It's claustrophobic, man. When I go in there, Stephen, when I come out, I'm gasping for air. Like I'm a little claustrophobic. It is dangerous. There have been 3 or 4, I think, murders or suicides in there in the last couple of years. It's filthy. When I've been in there, there's been like a mystery liquid. I don't even want to know what it is, dripping down off the walls. It's too hot in the summer. It's too cold in the winter. And just to give you a sense of this, there have actually been federal judges who have reduced sentences or let people out on bail because they've said the MDC is such a hellhole. I'm paraphrasing. Because the MDC is such a hellhole, I'm going to cut a little time off this guy's sentence. So it is nothing like anything Sean Combs has ever seen before.
Yet they've taken Sean P. Diddy Combs, who last time I checked is worth at least $500 million. And they've placed him in this facility where one could argue you had the luxury of putting him somewhere else. Should we make anything of the fact that they've placed him there?
No, because that's where any defendant in the Southern District of New York or Eastern District of New York would be housed. I believe I've seen reporting that he's in a separate unit that's meant to protect certain inmates. I've been in that unit, understandably, right? He would be in danger. I mean, he's a huge celebrity. He's incredibly rich. He'd be in all sorts of danger if he was in general population. There's actually reporting that he is bunkmates or being housed closely with Sam Bankman-Fried. So another guy worth a lot of money who would not do well in normal population. But I mean, the Federal Bureau of Prisons doesn't really care who you are or what you are. They're going to put you where they're going to put you. And because he's got to be in New York for his ongoing proceedings, he's going to be in the MDC. I mean, I guess they could move him. There's some facilities up north a bit. But you generally want to keep him as close to the courthouse as possible because you're going to have to transport him back and forth every time he's got a court appearance.
I saw one report talking about he was on suicide watch. I don't know whether that's believable or not, but based on what you're describing the facility to be like, one would surmise that's not that unreasonable and that's not too low, that's not too ridiculous of an assertion considering the kind of climate he is in. What do you think, if anything at all, they're doing to secure his, that he doesn't have the ability to harm himself?
The last agency I'm going to vouch for is the Federal Bureau of Prisons. They have a horrible record of keeping their inmates safe. Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, was on suicide watch when he died in prison. What that means, by the way, is that this is a person we have some concern about, and there's extra cautions taken. I don't know the exact details, but they check on the person more often through the night. They will reduce that person's ability to have like sheets and things that you might hang yourself with. You already can't have shoelaces and that kind of thing. But it shows me that they're concerned about
Let me know what y'all think. Get in the chat. Let me know what y'all
losing
think.
him, that they want to. It doesn't necessarily mean he's had suicidal ideation or said anything. It could be that, but it just means he's someone that they need to keep a closer eye on. But the Bureau of Prisons, Stephen, I mean, it is a nightmarish bureaucracy. I get it. They're short-staffed. They don't have great.
How we got 10 people in the chat and we ain't got 10 likes, man? If you listen to audio only, man, get the 5-star ratings on it, man. We need the 10 likes in there, man. We aiming for 10. Let's go.
Funding. They have an impossible task, but there is a long history of failures by the Bureau of Prisons.
How much time is P. Diddy Combs looking at overall? I know you brought up the 15 years for the Cassie Ventura situation alone. What are we really talking about, Ellie, when we look at this case? These charges, sex trafficking, racketeering. What are we really looking at for him?
In a normal case, what you do is you start thinking, where's the plea going to be? Because like I said, 95+% of federal cases reach a plea. And so it's like any other negotiation in the world. Well, where are they going to be able to find a middle ground? I don't see that here. I really don't. I don't see Sean Combs being willing to plead to, let's say, a lesser charge and agreeing to 7-8 years. I don't know the man. I can't speak for him. But to me, that seems unlikely. On the flip side, I don't see prosecutors in a mood to give much leniency. And so I do think this is headed towards a trial. You never know what's going to happen at trial, but odds are, just mathematically, empirically, he's likely to be convicted. And if that happens, it will be 15 years or higher. I mean, he could get 20. Who knows? The max is life. But just a little advanced tip here. Always focus on the minimum. The minimum is way more important than the maximum. Very few people, except for in murders, get the maximum. But look, Sean.
This is a good point that he's making. He's making the point that Diddy is not necessarily facing the maximum. He's facing the minimum, meaning he's facing 10 to 15. Like I just said earlier, man, people are not paying attention to what I said and what I'm talking about. He's facing 10 years, man. He loses his trial, he's going to jail for 10 years, yo. The man is 54 or 56. I'm not 100% sure. I can verify that information with y'all. But Diddy will be out of jail in his 60s if found guilty. If found not guilty, he'll be out of jail in 2 years. Right? If found guilty, Diddy is in jail until he's 64, 65. If found not guilty, he'll be out of jail when he's 55, 56. It is what it is. Okay? Obviously, y'all get the like, stop playing with your boy, but this could go two very opposite in different ways.
Combs, I mean, there's a realistic chance, Stephen. I heard you say recently, like, there's a chance that he will never be free again. You are right. There is a reasonable chance he's never free again.
Could it be that they're waiting for him to flip and get and point out some others as well, that they're not after just him? They want to put this inordinate amount of stuff on his shoulders to get him to make a deal. And
y'all get in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. Will Diddy flip or not? Get in the chat.
Being informant on others.
So that's such an interesting question. I thought about this, but the thing with cooperation is you need two. You need both sides. I mean, Sean Combs has to be willing to do that, and the feds have to be willing to sign him up. But the thing is, you as a prosecutor, you're not going to sign up a leader, a boss, just to give you a bunch of smaller fish. That's not how you do it. You want to work up. We used to say you want to cooperate up the ladder, not down. When I was doing mob cases, I wouldn't flip some capo, a high-ranking guy, to give me some soldiers and associates below him. I would flip the low guys to work up. And that's how they do it generally here. So the question I would have is, if he's willing and if he has info, who's he going to give me? If all he's going to give me is his guys, the people who Suge Knight referred to, the runners, his employees, that's of no interest to me. He's going to have to give me a large, important target in order for me to even consider cooperating him as a prosecutor.
Elie Honig, excellent job, by the way, man. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely fantastic point. I took my shades off. Your boy ain't going too hard, man. We touching 4 hours of the stream. Crazy. I don't think I've ever streamed for this long. Oh, but like I said, a lot of this is gonna go on Patreon. I can definitely say this. This is a fun stream. I'm having a great time. I'm vibing. I like the stream. A lot of this, again, is gonna go on Patreon. I just put the link right there. I'm already demonetized. It is what it is. I'm already limited. I've already, went against YouTube guidelines. I already did. I already did. It is what it is. I'm already not getting paid for this. It's fine. My thing is, I just want to have a good time. I just want to have a good time. I want us to enjoy ourselves. I want us to have a good time and vibe out, ultimately, because we gotta actually do our thing. We gotta actually do our thing. And I know somebody who might know what's gonna happen next in the Diddy trial. Get in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna go. Shout out to Ellie Holding, who's definitely did a fantastic job of explaining this situation. Shout out to Reggie right now, who's gonna break this down even more. Let's go. Fair use. I do not own this piece of content. Let's go. Again, the best way you can help and support me. Obviously, I'm not getting paid a single cent off this. The only cent I'm getting, again, is off the donation of my boy Sleepy. Respect to him. But the best way you can support your boy is liking the stream, man. We need to get to 10 likes, man. I'm doing almost 4 hours of streaming. I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to let y'all know that I'm putting in the work, man. I'm putting in the damn work. Least y'all can do is give your boy a like. It goes a long way, man. Let's go, man.
Okay. It was reported once the indictment came out what exactly they found during the raids, and obviously everybody's made a internet meme about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil and whatnot. But they also revealed that they found photos and videos of these freak offs. What were your thoughts when you heard that they actually did find videos? Because for months we talked about how, they're coming.
Look at the damn baby oil. The Diddy oil, man. Oh, the baby oil. It is what it is.
Stuff. You need to, get rid of this or get rid of that. So what were your thoughts that when it was announced that they actually have video proof? And who could possibly be partaking in these videos?
Yeah, well, once they came, I knew they had whatever they needed. Especially once we knew that they got guns and stuff like that. It was unfortunate that people were putting out that Diddy knew they were coming and Diddy left his kids at the house and all of that. And I kept telling y'all, Diddy didn't know they were coming. If he knew they were coming, his kids wouldn't have been there. But more importantly, as we saw, those fucking illegal guns wouldn't have been there. I'm surprised like crazy that that they didn't charge no particular guns on Diddy, especially because that right there, those type of weapons are 10 years to 11 years off the jump, especially with a scratched out serial number. If y'all don't know why people scratch out the serial numbers, that is because you can't find out, who they registered to, that they're stolen or whatever. That's why they deface. That's why people deface serial numbers, because they can't run a trace on the guns. And so just
By the way, to give y'all some context, Reggie Wright Jr. is somebody who's involved heavily in death row business in the 1990s with Suge Knight. He was I'm just going to tell the facts. He was a cop who was a fake cop, meaning that he was a police who worked still with death row and also with the blood. So he was a turncoat. You understand what I'm trying to say? He did security for death row, but then in the daytime was police for the LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department. So he worked with the criminals and the police. It was on both sides. You understand? So with his experience, he still talks to people in the LAPD. So he has police connections and he has street connections. So Reggie Wright Jr. was working both sides of the law. You understand me? So he has a lot of information about Diddy, a lot of information about Tupac, a lot of information about 90s hip hop.
disappointed inference, and that's a major crime uh, in most states and federally. So I'm surprised that they didn't charge that, but I'm really thinking the reason that they haven't charged those guns on Diddy yet, because yes, he have a security guards, he have a whole bunch of people that be inside his house, his kids, his sons, and all of that. I'm thinking they waiting for the prince to come back. So don't be surprised if once those latent prints come back, which they should have came back now, and it's been about 6 months, they've been in their possession, that some people wouldn't be getting charged with those guns. And they probably couldn't get Diddy prints on those guns. He might have wiped them down, or somebody else, it could have been touched over by everybody. Probably wanted to pick up those guns and play with the guns whenever they're alone at the house. But that would have been a major, major charge. And that moves you from not being able to go to RDAP and all type of stuff, which he's going to be in there for some sex crimes. So he's not going to be able to get RDAP programs and all of that anyway. So the part of the taping and all of that is, yeah, we knew when they pulled out all those VHSs and those all that high tech, what you call those, cameras and stuff like that. We knew he had been taping it and was storing stuff.
This is the facts. Everybody knew that Diddy was on some weird sexual depravity ish. It is what it is. Everybody knew. It was an open secret. My thing is, they did this and exposed him for a reason.
And yeah, I've been seeing all the executives, right, that has been resigning and stepping down. Well, the reason why the executives been resigning and stepping down, y'all, is because they've been getting contacted. And what people
Bingo. They've been getting contacted. Got the likes up, man. We pushing 4 hours. It is what it is.
don't want to do is they have, when you get jobs like that running corporations and CEOs and stuff like that, you have in there stock options and buyouts and moral clauses and stuff like that. And they're going ahead and stepping down now because they don't want to lose all of the rights because of the moral clauses that they have in their contracts. If y'all wondering why they're stepping down, is because number one, they done came to the job, they done came up there and talked to them or threatening to if they cooperating or not cooperating, and so they are scared that they're going to embarrass their company and they're going to lose and get fired and lose all of this money because of the moral clauses in their contracts. That's the main reason why a lot of the executives are stepping down. Now, most of them are becoming witnesses. Uh, Trust me, they're going to be becoming witnesses, but some of them not going to be able to become witness. You know, just like the young lady in her lawsuit said with Jake the jeweler. She went and had sex with Jake the jeweler. It's not a crime for her to go and have sex with Jake the jeweler. But the crime is because she flew across state lines and was
Okay, y'all. Let's stop playing, man. All these MFers was down for it. All these MFers was down for it, man. Everybody, or okay, I won't say everybody, but almost everybody was cool with the freak off, man. It is what it is. They were cool with the freak off, man. Let's see what Daniel has to say. Shout out my boy Daniel, man. The deprivation of sex, drugs, and alcohols and parties can cripple a man. Can't lie. He might flip. Who knows? Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with Daniel. I agree with Daniel right here, man. Dude was depraved of sex, drugs, and alcohol, and that will definitely flip a man. It is what it is. A man will be willing to do anything and everything, excuse me, for those things. Sex, drugs, alcohol. Facts.
paid witnesses. Uh, Trust me, they're going to be becoming witnesses, but some of them not going to be able to become witness. You know, just like the young lady in her lawsuit said with Jake the jeweler. She went and had sex with Jake the jeweler. It's not a crime for her to go and have sex with Jake the jeweler. But the crime is because she flew across state lines and was paid by Diddy. She didn't say Jake the jeweler gave her an extra $1,000, you know, minus the fee that she got just for coming. She said Diddy gave her the extra $1,000 for sleeping with Jake the jeweler. That's when stuff becomes a sex crime, y'all. And so that's why a lot of the executives or these people, they going to have on film having sex with these people, but it's going to turn out that Puffy was the one that took care of them.
Man, a nigga like me doing 4 hour streams and I only got 7 likes. Only got 7 likes. We got 10 people in the building. 7 likes, man. I'm not DJ Academics. I'm not none of these big, I'm not AK-47. I'm not nothing. I'm not back on Fig. I'm just a regular nigga out here doing this thing. But only 7 likes? What are we doing right now? I'm gonna take a pause for the cause, and I'm giving 20 seconds for us to get the likes up, man. 20 seconds, man. Actually, matter of fact, to do 30, man. 30 seconds for us to get the likes up. Get the likes up. I'm not doing nothing for the next 30 seconds. Let's go. Until the likes are up, I'm not continuing the stream. Let's go, man. It's 30 seconds, man. Yeah.
because he was looking out for them. It's kind of an unfortunate situation when we're talking about stuff like that, to be honest. If I'm keeping it real, y'all, because he thought he was just looking out and giving these people that was in that particular business, giving them some money and taking care of his executives that were probably doing major deals and big deals for him. The problem that Reggie, and I'll be honest, the only problem that I will have with Diddy for what he did is if there's any unaged people and anybody that was drugged doing any of these free call sessions. That's it. I know, and I'll be the first to say, the problem that I have is the people that were given drugs. The only reason that I believe I'll have always talk about Roger Bonds, who I believe is going to be the next person, one of the first people that's going to be indicted. I do not believe Gene Deal is going to be indicted or do anything like that. But I believe he's going to be questioned about the drink that he always talk about that Diddy has been making. Not because we know the indictment didn't start until 2000.
Hey man, the lights gotta pull up. The lights gotta pull up. I didn't talk for borderline 3 minutes, man. Get the MF and likes up, man. Stop playing with your boy. We're on a 4 hour stream. I did not even plan this. I really did not. 4 hour stream, 4 hour podcast. Again, this podcast will exclusively be, like I said, on Patreon in its entirety. This entire thing will go on Patreon. By the way, again, shout out my boy Sleepy, man. This entire show will go exclusively on Patreon, like I put right here. Because I'm not going to put this all on YouTube. YouTube has already demonetized this, has already gone crazy on it. It is what it is. I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to show love to people who show love to me. So y'all want to rock with Patreon, rock with Patreon. But if y'all don't want to, it's all good. At least get the likes up. At least get the likes booming. What Reggie Wright was talking about was uh Roger Bonds, Diddy security guard, Roger Bonds. It was a Diddy security guard for a long time. Roger Bonds might get called into this lawsuit, this RICO, right? And a lot of other people are gonna get called in this RICO. That's why a lot of people are quiet. It is what it is. Reggie Wright, talk to him. Man.
2008, and we know Gene hadn't been around them since then. But if you can show a pattern that he'd been doing this stuff since 1995 and all the way to 2002, and then people like Mark Curry and Roger Bonds and all of them who talk about this particular drink that he's been making, if they can show that he's been doing that since 1995 all the way to 2004, they're going to be good witnesses for the government. And not only witnesses, not Gene, I'll say it again, not Gene, but other people may have some issues. Because if y'all go and really listen, there's some audio that's been leaked out there to where the court hearing where they talked about unindicted co-conspirators that may be turning into indicted co-conspirators, and they said security guards. That's who I believe is definitely Roger Bond. But I'm not gonna be one out here throwing dirt on people. And
Yeah. Hey, stay tuned. Hey.
all of that. But that's my next prediction. Roger Bonds will be picked up.
Roger Bonds, he's saying the next prediction. Roger Bonds gonna get to this This Rico with Diddy.
It's unfortunate. Vlad humanized the hell out of him. He seemed like a good dude. But he also, if y'all really go back and listen to that interview, y'all will also see that he was saying a lot of things that would make him liable.
Basically, Roger Bond was really in them free calls. Roger Bond, the security for Puff, was a part of this. And that's a big narrative that, you know what I mean, we can't forget. Diddy could not have done all of this on his own. Diddy was an individual who had ecosystem around him. He had advisors. He had individuals who were there from start to end. Roger Bond was there. It is what it is. Right? So it was not a one-man army. What most likely it was an organization. These are facts, y'all. These are just facts, y'all. Roger Bond was a part of these things, man. Let's see what happens. Like I say, I'm gonna let the chat decide, man. Shout out to my boy Daniel. Say the deprivation of sex, drugs, and alcohol and parties can cripple a man. Can't lie, he might flip. Who knows? He might flip. Real talk. Diddy might flip. But we gonna know something that ain't gonna flip, man. We gonna talk a little bit about. We gonna end this on a light note, man. By the way, big shout out to everybody who's been here. We're doing a 4-hour stream. My God, I never knew I could do this, but appreciate y'all for even doing this, man. I'm not monetized. I'm actually demonetized for this stream, but any kind of support, the biggest support is the likes. Get the likes up, man. We need the likes up to 10, man. We need the likes up again to 10 of them things. But let's listen to this first.
Cardi B has a few choice words for Offset after he tried to FaceTime her.
Yo, let me tell you, this is such a fucking lame. He's so lame, it's not even funny. So we're texting and everything, and he's trying to FaceTime me. He's trying to FaceTime me because he's trying to show me, like, trying to hurt my feelings. He's trying to show me the girls that he been, I guess, fucking or talking to, and it's like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. At the end of the day, he must not be that good that you was.
Well, this is the problem, though. If you don't care, why are you on stream, though? Why are you going on IG Live? If you don't care, you wouldn't even do what you're doing. So you're doing a lot, baby. You're doing a little bit of a lot, baby.
You know, you was blowing up my phone all weekend. All weekend you was blowing up my phone. I blocked you. Even though I know you was gonna go to Atlanta, and I was like, I didn't want to know what you was doing out there. I told you I blocked. You was calling me all private numbers all morning. You was calling my mama, everything. So it's like you trying to show me, trying to get me mad. Like, oh, let me show you the bitches I'm f***ing. Let me show you the bitches in my DMs. I'm gonna hurt her feelings. I don't care. That must not be hitting. That you still calling my shit. Trying to get your lick back. Trying to do your big.
Oh, trying to get his lick back. You trying to get his lick back? Why is he trying to get his lick back? Let's
Lick
go.
back.
Fair use. I don't own this. This is all gonna go on Patreon anyways, man. Let's stop playing, man. Again, YouTube is playing with your boy. Come rock with your boy. We gonna talk about real ish. Let's go.
I don't care. You're a lame. And them bitches is lames too. You wanna know why? Because you gotta them bitches in order to get your ego to feel. You know, I'm too much woman for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm too much of a boss bitch for you. And I always been too good for you. I've been too good for you. I've been too good for anything that is associated to you. So you gotta other bitches to make yourself feel better. Because I make you feel so low about yourself. Because I don't make you feel like you're that in this home. So that's what you gotta do. So you out here trying to hurt my feelings because you fucking the next bitch. I don't give a. I don't give a. Because them hoes ain't good enough that I be having you crashing out all weekend. You was mad happy today when I called you today. And the only reason why I called you today is because I'm trying to change my son's school and I need your approval. Other than that, fuck you. I don't care. The world, my ops. I'm gonna fuck your ops. That's why I'm fucking your ops. Yeah, of course, because you don't move with integrity. You're not a street. That's what you do. That's what you do. Oh, I'm gonna go fuck your ops. Goo, boo hoo. I don't give a fuck. You can fuck my ops. You can fuck my friends. I don't give a shit. You're a lame to me, and you will never equate to me. And it's crazy that I even let you even play with me for such a long time, because you're not even a real right for me. I make you look good. Fuck you. Look at the bitch I'm fucking. Fuck you. I don't care. Look at the bitches that I'm fucking. I'm a oh your ups. Matter of fact, oh look at this. I don't want to see it. So what? You was gonna fuck them anyways, nigga. All you gotta do is get fucking drunk. And them bitches gonna throw you that for 2,000. Bitches gotta survive out here. Bitches.
Damn. So is he paying for box? Okay, so we got to get a bit mature with this. Okay. Cardi B, Offset. You know, it's a type of shit where if you dealing with a prostitute, right, or a stripper, or a sex worker, or a girl of the night, or a shorty who's around the block, or a woman who deals with the world, you have to have some level of discernment, meaning that you can't get mad or feel any type of way when she do what she's supposed to do. What that mean? Okay, I'll help y'all out. It means that if she goes doing whole shit, why would you get mad at her doing whole shit? Do you understand what I mean? I mean, if she's out here in the streets, really rocking in the streets, why would you get mad at her for rocking in the streets? It's just who she is. Like, why would you get mad at that? Why would you feel any type of way about that? Because that's what she presented you in the beginning. So you have to accept her as she is till the end. So whatever Cardi is giving you as an energy, bruh, I'm sorry to tell you, but you gotta be a gangster and deal with that. Unfortunately or fortunately, you choose. You get what you get and you don't be upset, man. That's my not even argument, but that's just my mentality, bruh. You get what you get and you don't be upset, bruh. It is what it is, G. Let's hear the rest of this thing, man. No, I'm
You gotta survive out here. Oh, now I'm a them bitches. Now I'm a bitches. Okay, you could do that. You was gonna do it regardless. You go to a club and you probably get drunk. You give them bitches 2,000. You was gonna them regardless. Them hoes gotta survive.
Oh, bro, we ain't gonna reach our 10 likes. It is what it is. Let's try to reach the 10 likes. I don't think we're gonna reach that. I don't think we're gonna reach that. But the Patreon members gonna get a lot of love, man. I appreciate my Patreon members. Shout out to the Patreon gang. Ah, I wanted us to reach the 10 likes, baby. I really wanted us to reach that, but we ain't gonna reach that. It is what it is. Let's go. Fair use, evidently.
These hoes is hungry out here. We in a recession, baby. Them hoes gotta get paid. Do that. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, I'm a
Blame for prostitutes and the flex, man. Blame for hoes is not a
watch what I'm gonna do to you. Watch what I'm a this, that, blah, blah, blah. You already done it all. You already done it all. You already done it all. You done it all. You done it all. You done.
How we got 9 people in the chat, we only got 7 likes, man. That don't make sense, man. That's not even mathematically significant, man. We have 10 people in the chat right now who only got not 7 likes. Come on now. Come on now. Spaz that like button, man, before we cut. Spaz that like button, man. Let's go.
Done it all. Nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing surprises me. You done it all, so I don't care. I don't.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you for my kids, though. All 3 of them. I don't regret none of them. But I regret you. I don't regret my kids. You're a good daddy. You alright. I don't regret them. Not none of them. Not none of them. But fuck you. I regret you. I'm too good for you. I always been too good for you. You know I'm too good for you. And I don't ever, I never even wanted to get on this social media because I don't want to turn off the next nigga off because this is not my type of shit.
I mean, that's cap. That's cap. The fact you said all of this, the fact you doing all this, that means you like social media. That means you like this messy ish. I'm sorry. It is what it is. This means that you're about it. All this messy BS, it means you're about it. Let's go, man.
This is not my type of shit. I don't ever want the next to ever think that I'm a messy bitch. But you want to be a messy and do petty shit because you hurt? All right, we going to do it then. Let's go lick for lick. Let's go wrong for wrong. Let's go hit for hit. F you. I told you, leave me the alone. Bye.
Oh, damn. She like that. She like that. She like that. We're gonna do one last thing, man. We hitting all these hours, baby. We hitting all these hours. Let's get it then. Again, fair use. I don't own this piece of content. We have 10 people in the chat, only 7 likes. This makes absolutely no sense. You better be smacking that like button. I've given y'all 4 and 20 minutes of content, bruh. Absolutely insane. I never do this. I don't do this. But I'm doing this because I rock with y'all. I'm not getting paid off a single penny off this. All I ask was for y'all to like the content. Y'all ain't liking the content. It is what it is. We're gonna finish this in a bit. It is what
One live talking about Offset and him being a narcissist.
Oh, my thing is, right? My thing is, why did I write that? I wrote that because I like look at this, right? I'm doing a 4.5 hour stream, right? There's been way more than 10 people who've pulled up in there, right? And literally I only got 8 likes. Shit crazy, right? My thing is, I'm not asking y'all for money. I'm not e-begging. I'm not on that weird shit. All I ask is y'all to give me likes because that helps the algorithm. That helps me get in front of spaces and places for people who actually do rock with me. If you don't rock with me, hit that dislike. Hit that unsubscribe. I'm cool with that. But I know a lot of y'all rock with me. I know a lot of y'all fuck with me. And that's where I get annoyed with it. Because if you do fuck with me, you have a simple choice of hitting that like button. That's it. That's the best way you can support your boy. Obviously, you can add in the super chat. Nah, man. But you know what? Everybody broke. People don't have the money like that. My thing is when I see people who are out here viewing my ish and not pressing the simple like button. One step away. So for me, I said, yo, it is what it is. I give you my best. Y'all like the stream or don't. I don't care no more. It is what it is, man. But let me say this: the 8 people out of this whole 4-hour stream who willing to give me a like, I love y'all beyond measure. I wish I can see who did it so I can boost you and show you more love. But I can't, unfortunately. But the 8 people who is willing to actually give me that like, out of how many people been watching the stream, I love and appreciate y'all. Everybody else, it is what it is, man. I don't give a fuck. It is what it is.
Is according to her threatening court wars. Like he's starting to take stuff back. Let's take a listen.
Like, I'd much rather whoever's watching here dislike my shit. Dislike it. Tell me how much you don't fuck with me or you hate me. I'd rather that than y'all just watch passively and not.
You want to
Like a nigga like me, man, I'm actually putting in real effort, man. Real effort. Real work in this bitch, man. Right? Right. It is what it is, man. And some of these lazy promoters or streamers or whatever are gonna not even care and not do nothing, but I'm actually gonna do it. It is what it is. People who rock with me, I fucks with you the long way, man. I wish I had access to see the people who rock with me, because I'm gonna rock with you the longest. You rocking with a real one right now. And whoever is not, it is what it is. Keep watching, man. Keep watching the greatness, because the greatness is gonna come. Why? Because I'm more consistent than your favorite. It is again, before she talks about fucking on the ops or dealing with the ops, it don't matter, man. I don't give a damn about the ops. I give a damn about the people who actually give a damn about me, man. Much love. Like I said in the stream, much love to the people who liked and supported the stream, man. All 8 of y'all. Cause I'm only gonna respect 8 of y'all people, man. It is what it is. Only 8 of y'all get my respect. Only 8 of y'all get my respect. And the 9th, obviously, is my boy Sleepy Euphoria. I think he was already in the 8, man. Only 8 of y'all get my respect. It is what it is. Let's go, man. Patreon. YouTube is playing games in my stream. It's gonna be Patreon only, man. It is what it is. I personally think the Cardi, in my point of view, I think the Cardi be playing games low key. She might have been fucking on a nigga while she pregnant though. That is kind of nuts though. But at the same time though, I've said if you committed to your woman, it is kind of crazy to be cheating on her though. Mm. So in that sense, this whole ish was over tweets. It's fair use again. Nobody wins when the family feuds, man. Nobody does. Man. Facts, yo. You have to know who you're dealing with, man. This shorty is Cardi B, man. As sexy as Cardi B is, but Cardi B is a former stripper, y'all. Like, why is we surprised that a former stripper does stripper shit, man? Like, why are we surprised by this, man? Like, why are we shocked by this, man? I got love for the strippers, man. But the strippers gonna be strippers, man. Like, why are we bugging off that shit, man?
Anymore, so she said she's not gonna do it.
Offset, so people picked that up and thought he was
I mean, that is facts.
talking about Cardi.
You don't have to tweet that. You don't have to say that. That's uncouth.
Yeah, don't play internet games with people you love, man. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like,
But that's internet games, man. Offset. If a bitch gonna be a bitch, if a hoe gonna be a hoe, like why do you have to say that in 4K? Some things are better left unsaid. Some things are better that you shut your mouth. You know what I mean? It's gonna be better sometimes to close your mouth. I probably should have closed my mouth talking about this, but It is what it is, man. I was aiming for 10 likes on my stream. I didn't get that. It is what it is. I'm feeling kind of salty. It is what it is, man. We're gonna end the stream in a bit. I'm feeling salty because that's all I wanted, y'all. I just wanted 10 likes, y'all. Like literally 10 likes on the stream, G. That's all I wanted, y'all. That's all I wanted. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's finish off the shits, bro. Again, appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. It's been Big J TV, episode 87 on the big broadcast, man. We did our thing. I appreciate y'all for vibing in and doing our thing. Man, this ain't gonna stay up. It's gonna be on Patreon. And we out. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Mwah. All the 8 people were showing love. Appreciate y'all more than you know. We out.